All right, we're up and rolling.
Let's go.
First ever stream at the same time. Oh, good start. First ever stream on the same time to YouTube and Facebook Live. Let's see how this thing works today. Let's see if Bill can figure out how to join us.
So I can see it on the YouTube now?
Should be able to.
Yeah, there it is.
Try to type in a comment.
There it is. I gotta log into my YouTube account. All right, we need everybody to subscribe to the YouTube now too.
Cool.
There, Bill. We got Bill just now.
Me here. Oh, I see him. How about that? There he is.
Nice.
Beautiful. You hear us all right, Bill?
Yep. Good.
All right, yep.
Chiefs back-to-back and the first ever home team playing in the Super Bowl. That's what leads the weekend in my mind. Gamecock basketball, rough outing for Frank Martin and company against Auburn, a historic defensive letdown in that one. And then USC women finding a way to win on the road in Baton Rouge yesterday as well, is how we start this Monday morning, where I see Bill's just beautiful, bright and shiny face. Patrick sitting at the board. Oh, great angle Patrick's got going on our new stream. We're up rolling on YouTube and Facebook Live this morning. We'll tweet out the links for those things. I haven't figured that part out yet. Just figuring out some new technology this morning. Bill, what do you think? You like the look we got going here?
I think I do.
I haven't figured it out either.
Well, the camera angle is like very up tight on me, so I'm wondering if that's as opposed to what we've normally used, which is normally
for everybody.
It's normally.
Yeah, we'll mess around with it. Don't worry. We got all three of us here. He's rearranging some pictures behind him. Let's go with the sports off the top here. We'll do something a little different than we normally do on a Monday morning. Patrick, especially because you're the NFL nerd, it's the exact opposite of what you guys kind of predicted on Friday. You thought Green Bay would have an easier time at home, and you thought the better chance to win on the road would be Buffalo, and it went the exact opposite way. Certainly Buffalo jumps out to that 9-0 lead, and it looked like they were going to be in good shape, but as they brought up on the CBS broadcast at the time, they've been there before. Kansas City last year down double digits in all three of their playoff games, I think, including the Super Bowl, and came back and win those suckers. And 21 unanswered, I think, is what Kansas City put on them. The Tampa Bay, right before the half, I thought was really the dagger in that sucker, where Brady just throws up the perfect touchdown, and Green Bay a little shocked in that one. But Patrick, we'll let you start this morning with the Super Bowl LV matchup of the Bucs and Chiefs.
Well, I'll start with the more recent thing we saw. That was kind of a bummer of a game, the AFC Championship. It got the primetime slot, and we thought it was going to be the best game of the day, and it definitely looked like it was going to be that way at the beginning when Buffalo jumped out to the 9-0 lead, and we were thinking, oh, now we get to see Patrick Mahomes try and make a comeback, and this is going to be awesome. And it took them 2 possessions to take the lead after being down 9-0. And it felt like after that point, the Bills were just doomed. And then an interception late from Josh Allen to Rashad Fenton, and then another touchdown off of that was pretty much the dagger. That game it really didn't live up to the billing. I thought Buffalo put up a better fight, but Chiefs are just that good, and you can tell Andy Reid why he's so loved by his players. Mecole Hardman fumbles at the goal line, and what does Andy Reid do? Doesn't bench him, just keeps feeding him. On the next possession, he has a long screen pass that he almost takes to the house, scores a touchdown, and maybe a drive or two later, just immediately repents for that sin. And it's what we expected, I guess, in the AFC all year. The Chiefs have been the best team in the AFC all season long, so it's not a surprise. I just kind of hope that the Bills will put up a better fight because they've been so hot all season long. And the Packers did everything they needed to do to win that game. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but that call to kick the field goal when you're already down 8 points to change absolutely nothing, change it from a one-score game to a one-score game, from a touchdown to tie to a touchdown to win. That's all it did. It seemed absolutely pointless. Eight yards to go, 4 chances with the MVP and the NFL's best all-time red zone offense. Just completely mind-blowing decision by Matt LaFleur. He tried to explain it, didn't do a very good job. But in simplest terms, you don't give the ball back to Tom Brady with 2 minutes to go, and all he's got to do is get 2 first downs. It's just not smart. So I would say it was a little bit of a disappointment the weekend. I thought the games would be better.
Bit of a controversial call too with pass interference. Bill, you disagree?
Well, I thought Brady versus Rodgers was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that yesterday afternoon. That was a lot of fun to watch. And Tom Brady, man, I mean, that pass right before the half. How do you let someone get behind you and the pole? Was it Kevin King? Is that right? Is that the defensive back yesterday who just, I don't want to say single-handedly lost the game for Green Bay, but he did a good job by himself of nearly losing the game entirely by himself. It was a lot of fun to watch that game and to see Rodgers and Brady. And then Patrick, you're right, the evening game was kind of a dud. I shut it down a little bit earlier than I typically would have. Because it was kind of boring. It was going nowhere. So, but I wasn't too disappointed. The Super Bowl matchup, I don't know. Are we going to do this thing for 2 weeks where we basically say Brady and the Bucs have zero chance of winning? I already saw some of that last night on Twitter. I saw some people saying it would be. I don't know. I didn't look. I'm sure that the line is already out there. Patrick, do you know?
3.5. Chiefs 3.5.
Chiefs 3.5. Okay. I mean, that seems pretty fair, but it does feel like that what we're going to have here is 2 weeks basically of just, Brady and the Bucs have no chance. And then we'll see if they are able to create a chance and go in. And Tim, as you pointed out, do it on their home field, which is pretty crazy.
That's one of those things that has gone for so long that if your city's going to host the Super Bowl, but you're just out. It's like a 16 beating a 1 in the NCAA tournament went for so long until Maryland, Baltimore County, and Virginia a couple of years ago. To see these things fall the last few years, it's really cool. It's going to be. Have you guys seen what Super Bowl tickets going for? You guys seen that?
No. How many are they actually selling? 7,500 or something like that?
No, I think it's
1,400 or 14,000.
14,000. Yeah, much 14, different. 000. And I only saw this because Heath Klein retweeted someone who I think maybe was a Bucs season ticket holder and got sent to them exactly. So I'm sure they vary to some degree, but I'll go with the one that Heath tweeted out a little earlier. Just throw out a dollar figure for a ticket to the Super Bowl. Dollar figure.
Tim, I want to say, and I could be wrong, I saw it and I don't remember it, but I want to say it's some astronomical, like $20,000, or am I wrong?
Not quite that much.
Gosh, I was going to say like 5 Gs.
$9,001 is what.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount. I remember that, and I'm with you on that. It was an absolute ridiculous amount.
He said he liked that it was $9,001. Usually in our country we have to go with the 99 to make it sound cheaper. They just went one
so
more.
Do they have the doctors' tickets? Like they're giving all the doctors a bunch of doctors' tickets for free? Are those ones able to be sold? Like, are the doctors getting the free tickets and then just flipping them, or
I would
are they
assume no.
there?
I would assume that that's one of those things where they have a ticket, but they have to show up at the game.
Show identification.
ID.
Yeah, show ID. I would assume. Now I don't know. Never know how that works, but I assume.
was thinking about it. I was like, what if there's just a doctor in Tampa Bay that's not really a football fan? And they're like, here's your ticket. And they say, okay, well, I'd rather have $10,000 than go to a game I don't care about to begin with, and then just get donated a free $10,000.
Sure, that would be interesting, no doubt. And if someone can do it, it'll happen. Let's put it that way. So that's a brief overview on what happened in the NFL. There are several of you weighing in this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line, Papa Joe 803-404-6100. The pass by Brady at the end of the half was ridiculous. Shows his greatness. Also, it was kind of a whack call at the end of the game, but that was an obvious pass interference. He grabbed his jersey twice, and the dude fell down, so you got to call that. Yeah, I didn't see it the first time. From the angle where the camera is, I guess, on the near side of the field where we usually see it, I couldn't see the jersey grab, especially twice, really. And then when you see the behind the play angle, where from the quarterback's perspective, I thought it was wildly obvious. It was unfortunate. I agree. It was kind of whack.
And he held the flag for about 10 seconds.
Right. And I know Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were on that, how late it was and the whole deal. You had to call it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Are you guys with me?
Kevin King was terrible. The story of that is not that the refs blew it and gave Brady a Super Bowl berth. The story is that Kevin King, from the opening drive, got torched twice on Mike Evans and continued to be awful for the rest of the game. And if anybody is to blame for that loss, one, it's Matt LaFleur for kicking the field goal, and two, it's Kevin King for being horrendous for 60 minutes of football.
Yeah, the field goal thing was shocking to me. It was absolutely shocking. Down 8 was 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go at the 8-yard line. At fourth down, I understand you're not going to take the lead, and odds are the Bucs are going to be able to drive and maybe kick a field goal or whatever. But I thought at least you had better odds tying it up and hoping your defense gets a stop and keeps Brady and the Bucs off the scoreboard than stopping them with 3 timeouts. And even Tampa Bay did all they could to help you, right? That kickoff, I don't know what the heck they were doing. Do you guys know? Getting down with 2 minutes and 2 seconds? That was weird. It was like they were told on the sideline, make sure you don't fumble. Okay, so I'll just give myself up with an extra 2 seconds there and basically give Green Bay an extra timeout. And then they come out throwing it a little bit. And once they did that, I was like, oh, this thing's over. They're playing to win and not to lose. And that's
Leonard Fournette picked up 8 yards on first down and just the basic run up the gut play, and then Green Bay had to just give them the first down. Green Bay did the jumped off sides to give them the first down, and I was surprised the Bucs took it.
Yeah, same here. I feel like we hadn't really seen that in football. A smart play, and it keeps evolving, right, to where teams try to give up touchdowns and get the ball back to get in the game at the end, and then other teams try not to score touchdowns, and we've seen that work or not work to varying success. Anonymous Raj hits us up. Leonard Fournette's TD run was insane. That was the guy that we saw at LSU just take over the college football world. That, by and large, we haven't seen in the NFL. But, man, he's right. That touchdown run was ridiculous. I guess it would be a tough vote to come up with a more ridiculously good play. The touchdown pass from Brady to Scotty Miller there right before the half, or that touchdown run from Leonard Fournette. Matt says Matt LaFleur's play call at the end of the Packers game eerily reminiscent of Gamecocks this season. Did he go to the Will Muschamp School of Play Calling? And if you're on social media at all yesterday, you probably got a chuckle or two about what you saw relating to the field goal try and Will Muschamp's reaction to that. You guys see some of those floating around?
Yeah, I saw somebody playing the video of Muschamp saying that was the right call. I don't give a bleep what anybody says. I was hoping Matt LaFleur would get on the podium with that type of sentiment, but he admitted that he was wrong. We never saw that in South Carolina.
Daryl says it's healthcare professionals, not just doctors, Patrick. Healthcare professionals. Get it right. Thank you, Daryl. Brandon and Newberry Chris, apparently long-standing Bucs fans. Brandon, it looks like he tweeted us about this or texted us about this for the first time on Friday, and now he's in on saying no doubting the Bucs, or not doubting the Bucs or Brady. Again, Tampa wins at home, go Bucs. Newberry Chris, just how about them Bucs? I heard a lot of that.
I'm scrolling back on Brandon's text to see if he ever mentioned that he was. Oh, he does. Yep.
Okay, good for
September
Brandon.
11th. Go Bucs. Can't wait to watch Brady in the Bucs uniform.
Well, okay. What about before Brady? There are a lot of Bucs fans once Brady got there. You guys noticed that this year?
Yeah.
I noticed that.
There were also a lot of old takes exposed and things like that.
That'll never work.
It wasn't going to work. Yeah.
For sure. All right, so we had to start with the Super Bowl matchup. We got to get into what we saw from Gamecock basketball over the weekend. As always, we'll talk Gamecock football somehow this morning, especially you guys saw the news with Tracy Rocker, or at least the reports. I don't think it's gone official, has it? But the reports had the Philadelphia Eagles interested in Tracy Rocker becoming their new defensive line coach. Bill, you seen any more on that than what I saw with just the report?
No, I have not seen that. I've not seen any more. I did see that yesterday, and that was pretty entertaining in and of itself, that Tracy Rocker clearly just in one of those moves where he's ready to bounce around and go to multiple different jobs.
Just does not know the definition of loyalty at all.
I mean, I don't how does that even make Auburn feel? Because you feel like probably what happened there is Bobo vouched for him, right? Like, hey, we should really get this guy over here. He's a good defensive line coach, and now less than a week and a half, 10 days, he's already bounced on out to the Eagles. The guy, from what I've heard, and I'm not knocking him, we all, I don't think he wants to recruit at the college level. Recruiting's not a fun game. and I don't think he wants a part of that. So, but that was pretty interesting. I would say is to already see him heading off to another job. Now I wonder if Will Friend will follow.
Deuce Staley also asked out of his deal with the Eagles in similar Eagles coaching staff news.
Okay, a lot of Gamecock / NFL coaching news and a lot of Gamecock basketball to talk about. We'll do that when we come back. 803-404-6100. Gamecock football perspective. Ryan Suckup and Rashad Fenton, the headliners, I would say, in the NFL in the Super Bowl, making it there. So a Gamecock will win the Super Bowl. Got one on each side there, or actually more than one. Chris Lamons, I saw him suited up on the sideline yesterday. I think Kobe Smith is on the practice squad there for Kansas City. So 4 guys, technically Gamecock alums, will be participating in Super Bowl 55. Something to keep an eye on. I saw that as far as alums in the NFL in the Super Bowl go, LSU leads the way with 6. There are several with 4, including Clemson. And the Gamecocks, I think, officially with 3 on active rosters are up there amongst the top dozen or so colleges, universities with alums in Super Bowl 55. Just getting started here on a Monday morning, up and rolling on the live stream, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Glad you're with us. Going to stay with the live stream there in the break, and who knows where that thing will go, and who knows where the show will go on a Monday morning in January with Super Bowl 55 matchup set. It's the early game. It's 107.5.
107.5. Clear. All right, you ready to read something there? Read number.
Which one? What am I reading? Oh, busy morning this morning. Lots to get into, lots to talk about. But first, I need to tell you about some great news from Love Chevrolet. That's right. You need to get over to Love Chevrolet, whether it's new or pre-owned. Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. Get over there, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, and see what I'm talking about for yourself. The exciting news? Well, Love Automotive in Casey is moving over to Love Chevrolet. That's right. They're taking that incredible selection of pre-owned vehicles and moving it over to Love Chevrolet. So now when you visit the largest selection of brand new Chevrolets anywhere in the largest selection of pre-owned vehicles anywhere in the Midlands. And that sales staff, so great, so phenomenal. You always hear me talking about how they'll be able to help you out. Well, now what they're able to do is even better, because the great group, Michael Corley, Dennis Rowe, James Jakes, Eric Sturgeon, Gary Ellis, are all joining the team at Love Chevrolet. Go find out for yourself. Again, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can visit them on the web, lovechevy.com. Again, new or pre-owned, Love Chevrolet is now your one-stop shop for the largest selection and lowest price guaranteed. Again, in person, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or online, lovechevy.com. Good morning. She's fucking here. All right, go ahead and address if you want to anybody. Just okay, start your hearing, okay? Not too far, but we'll go ahead and start.
Yeah, Tim, do you hear that? I see comments are disabled on the YouTube right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I need to push a button on that sucker.
It's probably the account setting.
We'll be here in about 40 minutes, all right? We got fruit.
You need to
go back and get the tablet. Go ahead and put that in your book bag. All right?
So I just tweeted this thing. Let's see.
You tweeted the yard marker. There's a lot going on here that I was trying to look at during the segment.
Gamecock fans, National Signing Day is coming up on February 3rd, and we'd like you to join us on GamecockCentral.com for the accurate, in-depth coverage that comes with that website. For a limited time, you can pay $107.5 and 60% off the first year.
Running low on coffee creamer. Be an interesting morning.
Looking for the old settings here. This is a really fun video to watch, I'm sure.
Well, so now the comments are popping up. Riley, Craig.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Yep.
You got those on Facebook, I'm guessing?
Yeah, but it's popping up on the. I'm looking at it on the yard. What is it? The StreamYard. So if you look over to the right of the comment section of StreamYard, all three popped up.
That's good. So maybe.
Speaking of putting a face with a voice, we were going to dinner on Saturday night, and as we were walking in, I almost ran into Pearson. Like,
really?
Pearson was giving Saludas at the exact time that we were walking in.
Big time.
Yeah.
You went to Saludas?
Mm-hmm.
It's good, isn't it?
It's really good. I think I could have eaten 5 bowls of the shrimp and grits from Saludas. But I think that's just what you get at fancy restaurants.
Yeah, it's a good. Steve does a good job down there. It's a good little place. I actually like going there and then going over to Brian's for a drink afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to go back. My girlfriend had a gift card, so that's the only reason we went.
Morning, Anthony.
I can't afford a $100 meal.
Not an every weekend thing. It's a Valentine's or save up for it.
Now I have to save up for Valentine's Day wherever we go for Valentine's Day.
That's true. I think I need to stay single through Valentine's.
Not sure if that. I tried to update the old allow the comments. We'll see if it worked or not.
Yeah, all the comments are on.
Gotcha. Those are all from Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to tweet out the.
It still says
stream.
Well, it's pretty cool. You see how you can show them?
Oh yeah, going across the bottom. That's good.
We're back.
Look at us. We are fancy this morning. Now I got to start paying attention to what I wear every morning because I can't wear the same thing.
Good morning, guys. Trey says on the Facebook Live. I enjoy when y'all do the Facebook Live. Go Gamecocks. Craig also with a good morning, and we can actually pop up these texts or messages from Facebook Live at least. We're not sure if we're getting the YouTube Live comments up and rolling yet or not. I tried to push a button. First time we're doing this. Poor Riley. Riley just hit us up. I usually always listen to you guys on the way to work. First time seeing what y'all look like. LOL? Good to know the face of the voice now. LOL. Oh, okay. Wasn't looking for LOL necessarily, but it could have been a lot worse. Anthony, good morning from Kershaw, he says. Anthony from Kershaw, really legendary on the show, and I'm not sure what Craig's trying to say other than good morning. And something's expensive. So we'll try not to be too confusing with the messages from the live stream this morning. Combine those with the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Jason, not happy with how Deuce Staley was treated in Philadelphia. It was always interesting to me that he got a head coaching interview a couple of years ago before they hired Doug Peterson. Obviously, that worked out well enough to go to the Super Bowl, but not well long-term anyway, that they popped him right in there and mentioned his name as getting an interview and possibly being in the mix there. And this time, I get it. It seems like they just want to do a bit of a separation between the old regime and moving forward now in Philadelphia. And again, if you didn't see the report over the weekend, Tracy Rocker in consideration reportedly for the defensive line coach there, and that would be quite the off-season journey for the former Gamecock. Just 1 year. And Bill, you said that Mike Bobo vouched for him. I don't even think Mike Bobo had to vouch for him. I guess maybe, but it seems like Derek Mason actually would be the guy that would make that choice. And yeah, sure, Mike Bobo would have to give a thumbs up, I would imagine, having worked with him on the last staff. But Tracy Rocker has worked at Auburn, was on that national championship staff. His playing record at Auburn way back in the day was as good as it gets. As the Outland Trophy winner, I think he won another big-time trophy, maybe Nagurski or something. I mean, basically all of the big-time awards you can win as a defensive player at Auburn back in the day. And so I don't know how much Mike Bobo had to do with it as opposed to Derek Mason. And now the Gamecock coaching staff is complete as well. That went down on Friday morning, just a couple of hours after our show. Also, I think we need to touch on it right now is the time to do it. The larger sports news world is that Hank Aaron passed away after our show on Friday. So we haven't commented on that. I was fortunate enough when he came into town a few years ago at Capital City Stadium to go out and cover that for the TV station at the time over at ABC Columbia. And man, I put it out in the tweet. Just dignity and class is the way I will always remember Hank Aaron. Obviously, a monumental player and talent and skill, consistency through the years in baseball, and ended up with 755 home runs, beating Babe Ruth's home run record, one that had stood for decades and decades. Monumental, his role in civil rights and the whole thing, but just the way that he handled himself, I've seen it multiple times over social media in the last several days, a better person than player. And being one of the best players ever is quite the compliment. And to me, it's what all athletes should really strive for. You're probably not going to get to the level of Hank Aaron, but man, a big loss for all of us, and certainly a hero to a lot of people, especially here in Braves country.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw him play. I'm trying to think, when did he actually retire? What was his final year?
Late 70s, I believe. I'll go double check that.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize it was that early. I thought he made it into the 80s, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, certainly was a legend, an icon for many different reasons, not just sports related, but for many different reasons throughout the South and throughout the country. And certainly as a guy I saw on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend that people were still referring to as the home run king, as the guy who still holds it, not willing to acknowledge for different reasons what Barry Bonds did. So, you know, certainly, and you factor that in too with, was it last week? Was it within 3 or 4 days of each other, I believe, that Don Sutton passes away? And, you know, tough start to 2021 for the Braves, for the Braves family, but certainly two incredible gentlemen gone, but living very full, incredible lives.
1954 to 1976 was the playing career for Hank Aaron, from 20 years old to 42. He was 42 when he finished up in 1976. That's the year before I was born. So we missed out on that as old guys on the show. Patrick's 25 years old. Patrick, what do you know of Hank Aaron? How did you take the news on Friday?
I mean, all I know is what I've heard about him, because I was nowhere close to ever seeing him play. And the first time I ever actually saw him, he was already very old. So all I know about him is that a lot of people argue that he was the home run king. And especially around here, he's one of those guys that is a legend and no one ever has a bad word to say about him. Like, everybody, all they do is, or they're just effusive in their praise of Hank Aaron on and off the field. So I was not surprised to see an outpouring of emotion on Twitter after that news broke.
No doubt about it. So obviously tough news with Hank Aaron passing away from the baseball perspective. Let's switch to basketball real quick. Man, 109 points, the most Auburn has ever scored on the road in an SEC game. First time they've been in triple digits since the Michael Porter days. Back in when I was in school in '99, I think that was his name, right? Am I messing that up? I think I am.
Yeah, you messed that
up.
Michael
Porter Jr. recently. It was.
Yeah, you messed that up. Oh, no, that was not his name. That was when they had Damian Fishback.
You guys start yelling at the text or at your radio right now. Auburn basketball, 1999. I almost had it. I was very confident. Chris Porter. Yeah. Oh, yeah. His real name was Michael, but people called him Chris.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Michael was his cousin back then.
They were 29-4 that year in 98, 99. That's the last time Auburn scored triple digits in an SEC game. Patrick, your tweet I thought was most appropriate. And I don't remember exactly the wording, but just that you were so frustrated, but you didn't know who or where to aim that frustration. Does that about sum it up from what you were feeling as you were watching Carolina, as Auburn kind of pummeled them on Saturday?
Yeah, it is frustrating. I mean, you're low on numbers. You know the guys haven't been able to practice very much, but you're just getting run out of the gym. dunks on every play, open looks, and you don't really have time to get breathers. So you don't know how to blame guys for conditioning when they haven't been able to practice, or the fact they've got to play longer minutes and more responsibility. And there's not very much size on that team because a lot of your depth is out right now. So it's just tough because I got some responses that said the lack of effort is what's frustrating, but I don't blame them. And it's like, well, yeah, it looks like a lack of effort because they're not running to the ball, but it's hard. You just don't know. You don't know if that's their own fault. I mean, I think they're doing everything they can. By the end of the game, you can see the guys are just absolutely gassed. Every time the ball goes out of bounds, there's hands on heads, hands on hips. Like they were doing everything they could. Just you were outmatched that day, really, at the end of the day, and that stinks.
Bill, what'd you make of it, man?
I didn't get to see much of it. The reason being is I went from an 11-8 high-scoring 8 to 10-year-old basketball game to trying to listen to that on the radio and not being able to watch it and listening to Derek and Casey kind of describe the action. And the thing that stood out to me, again, not being able to see it, so I can't speak to what was happening, was that South Carolina would score and that Auburn would just flat beat them down the floor and make a shot. And you could hear the frustration in Casey and Derek's voice. And how does that keep happening? So unfortunately, I can't really speak to it, having not been able to watch it. I was coaching Austin's basketball game at the time. We were running way behind and was not able to get back and watch it on television. But certainly, it's you can make excuses for them. I think Frank summed it up pretty well in the postgame, though. You've got a lot of guys that have been around this program for 3 years. And I'm very surprised. I understand the lack of practice. I totally get that. I'm not trying to say that, well, this team should be out there competing like a top 10, top 15 team. But I am surprised. To me, it looks like chemistry issues. Would you guys kind of agree with that? Not in the bad way that they're fighting in the locker room or angry with one another. It just doesn't. They don't look comfortable playing together. You guys kind of agree. You see flashes of it. Yeah. There's possessions here and there where you go, oh, that looks really good. You saw it for 35 minutes against LSU. I saw it in the second half against Texas A&M where they look good playing with each other. And
to me, this is all on one side of the floor. I can't play defense. Oh, look. I mean, it wasn't just 109 points. Auburn was shooting the ball well, right? They were hitting shots. But how many dunks did they have? Any of you basketball analytics nerds out there, if there is a place, I look for it. I tried to nerd it up on Saturday. I did my old internet searches of NCAA basketball dunks allowed. That was the most dunks I've ever seen allowed. And it's not like, I mean, Auburn is much better, especially with their point guard going nuts. That's one of the dangest things I've ever seen. 10 points, 11 assists, and 5 rebounds at half is what this kid did. That was impressive. Don't get me wrong. And Auburn has some athletes, but they didn't come in as – I mean, we've seen teams come in through the years. Like Kentucky has come in undefeated, number one in the country, just full of NBA lottery talent. Auburn's not that team. They got one really good point guard who will probably go to the NBA and completely dominated the game on Saturday. Don't get me wrong. But to give up that many just easy baskets, and then when they weren't giving up easy baskets, it was there were some contested threes, no doubt, but there were a lot of open ones. And just not being able to play defense is mind-boggling for me, because I've seen Frank Martin's teams play defense. I went out to the Final Four, and I saw that whole thing go down, and it's still the dangest thing I've ever seen in Gamecock athletics. But now to see it fall back the other way, especially for this team that is so athletic and so talented, I get why some of you are bitter. Chris just went excuses, blah, blah, blah. Watching the 8-year-olds play basketball was the better choice, Bill.
No,
I understand.
I have a notebook. I don't take a clipboard. And I might have done a notebook toss at the end of the game because my kid ran the wrong way on an inbounds play.
Your 8-year-old.
Yeah, he played a good game. I was proud of him. I just at the end of the game we're trying to draw. Do you know how hard it is to diagram a play?
Yes, I do. How about I was coaching 5 and 6 year olds on Saturday?
Oh, well, that's
I get it.
Probably more realistic.
That I was coaching 5 and 6 year olds, and you're coaching 8 year olds.
Yeah, I was. Oof, we got off to a good start too. We were up 4. We were up 4-3 at halftime. It was a barn burner.
Congratulations on that. Todd hits us up. Cool Care Heating and Air text line 803-404-6100. Yeah, they were completely out of condition, out of shape Saturday. You can't fault that on the coach or anyone, but the individuals, you can get in shape or in condition by yourself. I mean, you can do that at home. You can do that anywhere. I thought that's on the players. Oh, I guess I understand where Todd's coming with, but especially if you're dealing with actual COVID issues, we don't know the details of that as it pertains to the players. But then I have also heard that the way that they've structured this thing, when you're supposed to be at home, you're supposed to be at home. You're not supposed to be out running the streets and conditioning on your own. Again, there are no excuses for that defensive effort on Saturday. It's a unique season, and practice has been limited, and a bunch has been limited, but 109 points in a 40-minute game to an SEC team that came in 2-5 on your home court. First time Auburn's won in Carolina since 2014. There's no excuses. Don't get us wrong here. We're not making those. I think Patrick's sentiment as he was watching the game, though, I think is the appropriate one to have this year specifically because of these COVID issues. Is frustration is there. You just don't. A lot of times, like Gamecock football fans, just put it right on Will Muschamp this past few seasons, right? And guess what? He deserved it. And now he's. You guys see the settlement? I guess that also happened after our show on Friday. Basically, that original number of near $13 million is what he's going to get, is how I understand it. You guys get that number as well at all of that?
Yep. Right. Was I wrong with it? Did they settle it and it was due to him by Friday, or it was something where it had to be paid in full, I think, or maybe by the end of this month? Did I see that correctly?
Oh, I did not see that. We'll try to double check the timing on that thing. Basically, that whole thing that went down with the Thomas Brown exiting and how Will Muschamp was supposed to, his buyout was supposed to go down from 15 to 13, but never did because Thomas Brown didn't stick around. That it seems like they ended up coming to that original number that they were going to owe Muschamp anyway to me. But that's the thing when you're a fan, right? If you're frustrated, you at least want to be able to vent it towards a particular person or entity. It's usually the refs for the most part, right? We hear that from Gamecock Larry consistently. Or maybe your own head coach if you're at that point in your program. Sometimes it's the other coach, right, who's the evil guy and came in and did messed up stuff. And so you're John Calipari, Nick Saban, whoever you want to go there. That's the tricky part about that Gamecock basketball performance on Saturday. And now it's 3 straight losses after opening with the conference win against Texas A&M. It's just tough to find a specific thing to hold on to, and I think and aim that frustration, Patrick. That's kind of what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, and I was just counting up. I just went through the ESPN play-by-play, just adding up the dunks and layups. It looks like 5 dunks, which seems low, and then 11 layups. So 74 points came off of dunks/layups and 3-pointers.
74. Okay, so you threw in 3-pointers as well. So I heard 16 easy baskets or baskets close into either dunks or layups.
I went 15 of 16 from the free throw line too. So I mean, that was pretty much all of their points was just dunks and threes, layups and threes.
Kentucky Joe says Auburn had the games of their lives. The Gamecocks had the worst game in a few years. Got out-coached, outplayed, out-hustled. It looks like there are times they're confused or scared to make a play for fear of being taken out. That's long been a criticism of Frank Martin teams. I disagree with that. And I don't think Carolina played its worst game in a few years. Did you guys see the numbers for A.J. Lawson at half? 5 out of 6 for 3, 18 points. He was on fire. And they were still down 15. They had given up 57 at half. So defensively, I'll give you that. Offensively, they scored 86 points. And that's why I don't think it's a full-blown chemistry issue, Bill. When you score in the 80s, like they scored in the 80s the last 2 games.
I was going to say they're scoring points. Well, they scored in
last 2 Saturdays, I should say, right?
Last 2 Saturdays, they lost 81-70 to Missouri. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Defensively, there's some major flaws here. Now, I don't know. I don't want to say we're not getting the whole story from Frank Martin. That's not what I mean. But I think as fans, it's hard for us to really understand what exactly is going on with practice, how much practice they're able to do, what they've exactly been able to do, how much conditioning they've been able to do. If that makes sense, like I think it's a little difficult. I mean, you look at it. Your big three. If you tell me, if we're doing the show on Friday and you say, hey, you're going to get 20 plus points from Lawson and Bryant, and Cousinar is going to give you 16 points and 6 assists, I'm pretty much telling you that South Carolina is going to probably win the game.
Well, if you tell me that South Carolina is going to score 86 points under Frank Martin, and you're going to win the game.
That too, yeah.
Typically by double digits, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what they did give up, how about 74-52 or something ridiculous is what they beat? Maybe it was 78-54, I think, was the final in that season opener in the SEC against Texas A&M. I thought that's the team we were going to see. But we went into that game saying we don't know what we're going to get because there's so few games. And now, pretty consistently, we've gotten a team that just is not good enough defensively in the SEC to compete. And it's one thing to not win games, but they didn't compete on Saturday. And Missouri had that game handled real quick after a 10-0 run in the first couple of minutes. Maybe the first minute seemed like it in Como, the game before. The LSU game, certainly, it seems like the best case scenario, even though they didn't end up winning that game in Baton Rouge more than a week ago, how they competed and led that thing for almost 34 minutes. It's almost in a way that he broke some spirit or it did something to the psyche of the team. We'll see if Carolina can get it back. Georgia's up next, coming up on Wednesday.
On the Facebook stream, on the Yard stream, Waddy asks, "What's up with Frank?" I don't know, and there's some rumors kind of circulating that he may not be back the remainder of the year. Waddy says he was sitting in the stands on Saturday. I think, from my understanding, yeah, there's something going on where he can't. I don't think it's discipline. I'll say that. I don't think it's discipline. But I'm not sure what exactly the deal is with him. Maybe we'll see if Frank answers more of that this week in his press settings.
Well, he was asked about it last week if he would return this season, and he kind of sidestepped that.
Yeah, so I don't know if he'll answer less. I mean, I don't know if he'll answer more of it this week, but certainly I don't think it's, from my understanding, it's not disciplinary, but it does have something to do with the virus or maybe opting out or something like that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Frank addresses that more this week.
404-6100 is the number in the program. You can call or text. We're up and streaming on Facebook and YouTube Live this morning. Thanks for being a part of the program. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
Clear. All right, good number.
It's that weird pause before an endorsement. While we're listening right now to the promo on the radio, now Bill's going to start yapping.
Oh, a lot of excitement in those voices right there, talking about being glad to be home, glad to take an opportunity to coach South Carolina. I tell you what, all the coaches, they better get a good night of sleep. It's going to be an uphill battle. They're going to need great nights of sleep. That's exactly what I get. I have a sleep number bed, put that sleep number setting on 40. Get a fantastic night of sleep each and every night. You can do the same. Come in to a Sleep Number store now and find out that proven quality sleep is game-changing sleep. Right now, save $1,000 on the Queen Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed plus special financing, but it ends today. You need to make the move. You need to get over to a Sleep Number store today. 2 stores to choose from, one in Irmo, Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings, the other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can also check them out on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, right now, save $1,000 on the Queen Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed, special financing, subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. You need to make the change today. You need to make a move to a Sleep Number bed, find out how great it is, and never look back. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night's sleep is truly like. a move to a sleep number bed, find out how great it is, and never look back. Maybe the switch to sleep today and find out what a great night is.
See, did Patrick mute himself? Oh, he did. What a pro. Patrick muted himself on the traffic update.
All right, I'm going to go get kids up. I guess everybody thinks that when we're doing the radio show, as perky as I sound, I look like I'm dancing around.
You look what?
Everybody says I need to wake up more.
You do.
Patrick sending you the Fenton pick. I'd like to get that on.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I saw.
Just sent you the clip via Twitter. And did you cut the Frank Martin stuff?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, sir. That is the riveting type of off-air discussions that we typically have here on the show. See, we've got the comments up and rolling here. Bill looks like he needs a gigantic cup of
I'll
coffee.
put you on hold. Thanks, Gamecock Larry.
Nice, Waddy. That's what I have for sure, right here.
And Gamecock Larry's on hold.
All right. That'll get them going. Wanda, what do we think of the football hires? I feel like we've been talking about that for the last month. Patrick, what do you think? I'll give you first crack at Wanda's question there. What do you think of the football hires? I assume she's talking about Gamecock football staff.
Letter grade, B-.
Please get down there, teacher, Professor Patrick.
Like a 83%.
I wasn't expecting you to expound on the number, like maybe some comments and explanation, rationalization.
There's like not much of a track record for any of them, but after hearing them talk, you got to like all of them. I don't think anybody spoke that I was like, I just like the attitude of all of them. They're all young, inexperienced, hungry. So, I mean, it's really hard to say. And we definitely know the least about this staff of any staff I've seen in a long time, but I like the mindsets. All right. Then.
I like the idea of unique and kind of what Luke Day, the strength and conditioning coach, said about this being the opportunity of everyone's dream job or dream opportunity. I would have preferred that was going to be stated first as opposed to bringing in the premier staff and keeping Bobo and Will Friend on and then seeing them jump. I think that's where that message is a little tough to sell. And Bill says it all the time, like comparing that coaching staff to Will Muschamp's coaching staff. There was a lot more SEC experience on Muschamp's. We saw how that went, though. I got no problem with new and different.
Are we addressing people on
retreads? Wanda just asked about the football hires, and I figured off the air was a good time to do that since there was nothing new necessarily over the weekend, except for the old Tracy Rocker wrinkle out in Auburn, and who hit us up? Somebody hit us up on the text line saying that who was this? Somebody that I don't want to put out on radio. It was anonymous texter. Will Jimmy Lindsay stay at Carolina since Rocker's name is in line for the Eagles? Since Auburn are some poachers.
We're back.
3 minutes. We're back. 3 minutes?
Now we're going to go radio voice on you.
I know. Now I feel like I got to look more perky. Guess you guys think I'm just always full go.
Yep.
Paulie, what a kind guy this morning on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Top of the morning from Branchville. Top of the morning to you as well, Paulie. 803-404-6100 is the number. Frank W. hits us up, says, I must have on my orthopedic shoes because I stand corrected. Early in the NFL season, I said Tom Brady and I would both be watching Super Bowl 55 on TV. Boy, was I wrong. Now he's getting ready to compete in the Super Bowl for the 150th time. Yeah, ridiculous, right? I think it is his 10th. His record 10th. First guy to ever play in 10 Super Bowls. It's 10 out of, 21 years?
19 as a starter, yeah.
14 out of 21 championship games. First time over in the NFC last night. We're going to give him too much credit, right? Because Aaron Rodgers played better than he did in the game. We all agree?
Yes.
But there certainly is something to having an overwhelming effect, a quarterback's overwhelming effect on a competitive nature of a team, and you can't overstate that.
Yeah, and he did throw 3 picks. The whole thing about Tom Brady versus Jameis Winston is Tom Brady might not put up as big of numbers, but he won't throw picks, and he threw 3 picks, and they still won the game. So
same exact stats almost.
But when it mattered, he dropped some just absolute dimes and passes that not many people besides Tom Brady.
I know the Packers came back, never took the lead. But what was the backbreaker? Was it the touchdown pass right before the end of the half, or was it was it the fumble to start the second half?
The backbreaker was kicking a field goal and not giving your team a chance.
Yeah, I know.
Because they never got the ball back. That was what was crazy. They never got the ball back.
And because we've got too many streams going. We got a lot going on right now.
Overwhelming.
Like there's a lot. Well, I can't now go back and say like, oh, so said this, because I can't remember where it came up, whether it was on the Facebook comments or the text line or whatever, or Twitter. But somebody said, and I agree with them, like I was yelling at the TV, Rodgers, both plays, second and third down, I thought could have run for the touchdown. Did y'all agree with him?
I don't think he would have gotten in on the last one if you look where the defenders are, but it definitely would have gotten you to like the 3-yard line. And if it's 4th and goal from the 3 versus the 8, I bet you they go for it. So it would have changed the decision there.
Okay. Yeah, I was shocked he didn't.
My 7-year-old was right there with you, Bill. He really wanted Aaron Rodgers to run, and then I explained to him in the next game, like, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers was 24 or 25, like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, he would have run those. Instead, he's an old guy like your dad. That's how it works. Except the older guy is actually in the Super Bowl for the 10th time. Ridiculous. Hour 2 coming up.
All right, I'm going to be running back. I can already tell I'm going to be running a little behind because we're behind on schedule. So I just woke Ansley up to get her ready. So,
all right, will you dump out of the stream and then hop back in so we don't have just the blank spot in there?
Wow, hurtful. I worked on this background all weekend.
It is
nice. I mean, I put the fishing rod right here Yeah. All right, I'll get out. I'll be back in just a little while. Y'all try and get up. All
right. Waddy, you got Bill nailed. I must have touched a nerve. Sorry, Bill. Yeah, he can be sensitive in the morning or in the afternoon. Wanda says, is Connor Shaw still on staff with the Gamecocks? He definitely is. And sorry, I got something going in the background.
Doing something.
Yeah, he's the same role he was in last year, basically. It sounds like he's going to be. I know Shane Beamer said it'll be more on-field stuff, so I think they're still trying to figure out exactly what he can do per NCAA rules, football-wise, without being considered an on-field assistant. And you're welcome for the feedback, Wanda. Thank you for the questions. We don't know exactly how this is going to work. We do know that we'll keep it up in the breaks. Like the whole point of the live stream is to be able to still interact with you guys during the breaks. Yeah, if you would prefer. What you got, Patrick?
I was just gonna. Do you follow Dick Vitale?
Yeah, I don't, but I saw the picture of him needing Pepto-Bismol. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not just one. He did it 5 different times. Every time Packers get the ball, I need some Pepto-Bismol. He's holding up Pepto-Bismol. And then he's just like live tweeting the whole game. I can't take it. My stomach is rumbling. Lorraine, give me that Pepto, baby. And then comes back. Super D, JPP, baby. Go Bucs. Holding up the Pepto-Bismol. I don't know if we can. Just holding up Pepto-Bismol. It's like the same picture over and over again. My stomach cannot take it. 8 minutes decides a conference title game. 6 pictures actually with Pepto. I guess he's a huge Bucs fan.
Yeah, he lives down in Florida. He actually, my wife did high school in Sarasota, and I think Vitale was kind of in their neighborhood or something. So she saw him. I was worried for him seeing that picture. What's that?
He's from Jersey.
Right. He's been down there for a long time, I think.
Yeah. Wild. He kind of broke Twitter last night.
Well, he reminds me of my dad. My dad's in his 70s, and he was trying to send me some forwards and was not forwarding the link at all. Just like had the address with a MP4 thing at the bottom. He's like, "Yeah, just look at the bottom. You can watch it." I was like, "Yeah, see the video." But eventually, I think he got me the next one, so
Right.
we're good.
I think I do need to follow Dickie V now, though.
I was seriously concerned for his welfare when I saw the picture. It did not.
I was
look good.
confused. Like, do you have a deal with Pepto, or
Right.
was it? Because it really looked that way. Some of these pictures are truly absurd.
No doubt.
And or if he just thought he had like a funny joke and kept hammering it into the ground, making the same joke 10 different times.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, I think for some reason YouTube disables these comments maybe when you have it up, how we have it up right now. I've tried to enable the comments on YouTube Live. Appreciate the Facebook Livers. Patrick Timothy hit us up about Tony Elliott to Tennessee. Any truth to that?
I didn't see anything like real. I saw some videos that had him linked to them, but nothing. There was, I think, who wrote the article? It might have been Wes Rucker. Let's see. Now, Brad Crawford had a little article up a couple days ago about capturing the attention.
I saw one Clemson fan on social media. I think they thought it was funny that any Tennessee fans wouldn't think Tony Elliott's good enough to come coach there.
Oh yeah, I think that's funny too.
Yeah, but I don't see that being a good move for him. That mess.
Because he's got better options.
Oh, yeah. It's such a good spot he's in, and then the other jobs he's been mentioned for, you feel like he kind of will have his pick.
Yeah.
Because you have to win at the highest level at Tennessee to make that fan base happy.
Well, how bad Clemson stunk on offense in the playoff game without him was
right
good for his stock too. Not as bad as they were on defense in that game, but
well, now you're doing that Bill thing. You're just trolling. You're just trying. People rankle.
I'm looking at the comments thing
On YouTube?
Yeah.
And what are you seeing?
It just says because disabled comments is selected, YouTube may have turned off the comments for safety reasons.
Right.
The audience is set as made for kids. Restricted mode. Could be on.
Thing. So we're still working out the bugs here.
Oh.
Get that up. Get this up. And I'm guessing, I'm not guessing. I know we can start doing this stuff too when we're not even doing shows. You know, we can just pop this live stream up.
Yeah.
Right after a game, at halftime of a game, whatever, man. It's a whole new world out there. Now we're about to go back to radio. We're going to try to figure out how to get the radio audio in here for you too, so it doesn't sound goofy. And then the trick is switching from that to being able to talk. Also, it's still working out the bugs here.
Yeah.
Moseying on in. Hour number 2 here. You see the social media video? Tom Brady and Gronkowski put it out again. I think they were walking to the plane, maybe walking off the plane last night. They're in the dark. And clearly the Tampa Bay social media folks have also helped them out a little bit. I just saw it come across my little Twitter timeline at Tim Hill 1075, by the way. Hello.
It was a remake of a video they made the last Super Bowl they had in New England when everyone said it's Bad Boy for Life.
Right.
Diddy. Yeah.
So this time it's Gronkowski pulling up his whatever. I guess he was wearing a sweatshirt or something. Underneath it was the NFC champ shirt. I mean, I don't know why you got to do that. The last one I remember being annoyed by. I guess this time everything that Tom Brady kind of answered and had to deal with this year, Gronkowski can throw him in the same boat. The fact that he made that big play was a wide receiver screen. I don't even remember when it was in the game, but I remember it just being such a notable play and fitting. I was like, oh yeah, Gronkowski didn't put up massive numbers all year long, but that's why you have him right there in the playoffs in an important moment. He makes a play, and he should have got – most tight ends get tackled from behind, right? He gets out of that tackle by about an inch or two from behind and turns it into a big gainer. Like, that's why these guys are special. That's why Tom Brady's playing in his 10th Super Bowl. I don't know, like Gronk's probably in his 6th or 7th or something ridiculous like that. Right?
You know what's crazy that I found out recently that just blew my mind? Gronk and Travis Kelce are the same age.
That is crazy.
Is that not wild? Because Travis Kelce seems like he just arrived, basically, and is in the prime, and he's like, I would have guessed that he was like 28 in the prime of his athletic career, and Gronk is already retired and unretired and just looks like a hobbled old man out there. But they're the same age. It's unbelievable. I was so shocked when I heard that stat.
43 years old is the age that you'll hear in the next 2 weeks for Tom Brady, and playing in his 10th Super Bowl, first guy to do it. And again, we mentioned it in hour number one. I want to be very clear, especially if you're on the anti-Tom Brady bandwagon or you think he's overhyped or what. Aaron Rodgers played better than Tom Brady. He was the better quarterback on the field. But Tom Brady, he does deserve some credit for sure, a lot of credit for switching organizations and taking Tampa Bay now to a first in NFL history, played on their home field at the Super Bowl, which is going to be just wild to watch. I mentioned it in hour number one, how $9,000 is the tweet that Heath put out about a Super Bowl ticket price down in Tampa Bay, $9,001, and Heath especially like the $1 that was mentioned there. I'm trying to fix my hat as I'm looking at the live stream here. It looks a little cockeyed. That's a personal pet peeve. We got YouTube Live and Facebook Live up and rolling this morning. Tim Hill, Patrick Perrette with you. Patrick's holding things down, producing, filling in for Jen Jensen in the Herndon Chevrolet Studios in downtown Columbia. And as I said that, then Patrick disappeared on me on the live stream. Okay. You do sound beautiful over there. Courtney Levitt, former Gamecock football player, says, morning, gents, on the Facebook Live. Good to see you, Courtney. And Craig, this is why I like this kind of stuff. Craig weighs in on that and says he did that in his Lou Holtz voice. My Lou Holtz impersonation is terrible, so I'm not even going to try to throw it in there and subject you to that. It's enough that you might have to be seeing my face this morning along with the voice. But so we've got Super Bowl 55 set. Kansas City responding down 9-0. Patrick Mahomes doing Patrick Mahomes things. We've seen it before, right? So there's not a lot there other than the Bills didn't give more of a fight. Patrick, I think, is the bit of a surprising thing that the Bills didn't then respond as well to the run that Kansas City put up after the 21 straight. I know they ended up scoring in the whole thing. And congrats to Tyler Bass, first ever postseason kicker, the former Dutch Fork High School standout with 3 field goals of more than 50 yards, stuck the 2 51-yarders. It was almost like, though, when he missed that extra point, when it banged off the upright, and they didn't even show it on the broadcast live, I don't think at the time. They're showing the replay of the touchdown, that the momentum stopped there for Buffalo. Kansas City regained that thing. Miko Hardman atones for the early drop punt and then some, making all kind of plays. And that was another great lesson to tell the 7- and 5-year-olds that were watching it. Got to stay up late and watch the first half last night. Travis Kelce's leadership, you saw him on the sidelines there. I certainly did. I pointed it out. As soon as he dropped that fumble, Kelce was right in his face on the sidelines, pumping him up, and Hardman was over there throwing his helmet. Yeah. And my son was like, why did you do that? Yeah, it wasn't the greatest thing. You probably don't want to do that. But it just shows you, I think, why we gave Kansas City so much credit last year, and Andy Reid specifically as their coach, coming back from double-digit deficits time and time again. And then just the the foundational stability of that team. It certainly has a lot to do with tremendous talent, but you got to give them some credit too from a leadership perspective, and Kelsey and Mahomes kind of leading the way.
Yeah, the Hardman thing was really funny because we see it all the time in sports where somebody makes a mistake and the camera just stays on them for several minutes, just following them in basically their lowest moment, and when they don't want anybody to look at him. Hardman literally sat on the bench and threw the jacket over his head, just like hiding under there, and they just wouldn't. Every time Buffalo took the field and once they scored, they just put the camera back on Hardman again, and it was like, oh man, this is just brutal. But yeah, like Andy Reid, there's plenty of coaches that would have said, all right, Mikol, you're done. Sit down. We're going to have Byron Pringle go out there and take the next punt because he can catch the ball, and you get punished. Like, if you fumble, a lot of coaches will bench a running back that fumbles, and Andy Reid went the complete opposite way and said, okay, well, you're very motivated. You're clearly not going to fumble again. Ball security is going to be top of mind for you. Let's just beat Mikol Hardman and get his confidence back up because we're going to need him next week too. I mean, it was just so cool. Kelsey was over there consoling him. The whole wide receiver group, and I think the very first play back on the field, they gave him a little wide receiver screen, and he went and gained a couple yards. It wasn't anything serious, but you saw the offensive line right over there and tap him on the head. Kansas City is they're a well-coached team. There's so much chemistry. The fact that they're going to keep Tyreek Hill around for at least 5 years. Kelsey's going to be around for 5 years. All these guys signed long-term deals and probably took less than they could. It all starts at the quarterback position because that's the reason everybody wants to be there. That's the reason they'll take a pay cut to be there, is because Patrick Mahomes is just that good. We're going to talk for 2 weeks about Brady and all the crazy stats for him. 10 Super Bowls, all 14 conference championships, 43 years old. But Patrick Mahomes casually is in his third year as a starter, should be playing in his third Super Bowl if Dee Ford didn't jump off sides 3 years ago when they were already had the game won. But 3 straight AFC championships, 3 straight conference titles, 2 Super Bowls in a row, and really, for the first time in a long time, is unanimously the best player in football. Like Brady, everybody kind of agrees now is the greatest of all time, but throughout his whole career, there are plenty of people that would make the argument that, oh, Rodgers is better than him right now. Peyton Manning's better than him right now. There's no one that's going to say anyone's better than Patrick Mahomes right now because there's just really not a case to be made. Other guys have great years, won an MVP. Lamar Jackson deserved the MVP last year. Aaron Rodgers deserved the MVP this year. But 100 out of 100 people would say I'm starting my team with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some Clemson fans listening that would say Deshaun Watson. Look what he did with less talent around him. I hear you. But as far as what he could do, what he could control, Mahomes has weapons. But the way that he makes it look so easy, and he was playing through the turf toe injury, obviously bounced back from what still hasn't been called a concussion, right? It was in the concussion protocol, but his episode where he went jelly leg last week, and I know we had a caller say they think he got choked out, and I tend to believe that theory as well. I still don't think we've gotten the exact details on that about the Mahomes injury, but clearly he looked, if not 100%, certainly 95%. Saw him maybe with a little hitch in the giddy up a time or two yesterday, but he was at just classic Pat Mahomes. I know it's just his third year as a starter, but I feel like you can already count on seeing those type of performances on the biggest stage. And it got really ugly at the end, by the way. I was disappointed in how the Bills handled that thing. I get it. You're a gritty, tough team and you're physical and it's an emotional loss and the whole thing, but that was just ugly for football overall. The way that thing ended, the emotions were getting out of control. I thought he did a pretty good job of getting his team under control and showing some leadership there. And then, you're always going to have some guys on your team rubbing it in and showing their emotions. And the Chiefs did have that. Wasn't a great look at the end of the night last night after having kind of the feel-good story from a football perspective, maybe from an old guy perspective, maybe because I'm 43 years old, the same as Tom Brady, of having that redemption and now playing at home in a Super Bowl, something none of us have ever seen. Going to be a strange sight for sure, and to see Tom Brady doing it with Tampa Bay. Wow, incredible. So we're not just going to talk about the Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl 55. Would like to hear from you. And we got Gene hitting us up saying losers make excuses, winners make adjustments. We are talking about that adjustment with Mikol Hardman, or maybe the lack of adjustment, right? That was kind of the adjustment that Andy Reid made. He went right back to the guy that made the mistake. So it's that that line of being stubborn as a coach and going with what you believe in. And if you're Will Muschamp and it doesn't work, then you're stubborn to a fault for sure. If you're Andy Reid, you're steadfast and confident and cool and calm and collected and wise, and you're showing confidence in your players if it works out. And that's what happened there. I think Gene was probably actually talking about Gamecock basketball, which had a rough Saturday, giving up 109 points to Auburn. First time Auburn scored triple digits since the Chris Porter Auburn days back in 1999. First time they've ever done it on the road in the SEC. And Gamecock basketball gave up so many easy buckets. Patrick went back and did the work in the first hour, 16 layups or dunks in the game. A bunch of threes for Auburn as well. They shot the ball well. Don't get me wrong, but the Gamecock defense is where Frank Martin was basing most of his comments and frustration, I think, after the game. And Patrick, you tweeted it out during the game. You didn't know where to throw your frustration because of all the COVID issues and the whole thing. And I think that's what Gene was talking about, no excuses. And you got to give Frank Martin a little credit there as well. He certainly hasn't used that as any kind of explanation. Right now, he was talking yesterday, one of the notable comments that stuck out to me, no leadership on his team. And we've heard bad leadership before. I think we've heard the no leadership thing before from Frank Martin. We'll let you hear a little bit more from him as we continue to roll on here in hour number 2. Love to hear from you today. Also need to mention USC women's basketball tested, making adjustments, basically switching point guards, and that worked out. And then some yesterday at LSU, got the game moving down the stretch in Baton Rouge, and some transition buckets led to Carolina's 23rd straight SEC game. They're one off the school record there. It was a 4-point win at LSU, 69-65, I believe the final score there, with Aaliyah Boston 20 and 15. An incredible game for her. Her run is continuing. And after a slow start in non-conference play, she continues to be very impressive. Destiny Henderson, 16 points and 8 assists yesterday as well in that 69-65 win for the 4th-ranked Gamecocks at LSU to stay perfect in SEC play, 23 now in a row, one off the school record for SEC wins. So we've got basketball, football to talk about. We'll always get into Gamecock football. Tracy Rocker reportedly offered the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line coaching job over the weekend and could make a third stop here within the last 10 days, 2 weeks. Certainly has some Gamecock fans' attention. 803-404-6100. Again, you can call or text. It's the early game. It's 107.5 again. You don't want me to do zero res here, do you? Not going to combine breaks. We got to do normal breaks here, Patrick?
Yeah, people ones are long.
Gamecock Larry still on hold?
We got him.
All right, fantastic. Let's see. See, if I have time, I think I can kind of type in the comments from the text line, post a comment. Raj just hit us up about Aaliyah Boston with a triple-double. No, I think that was the game before, Raj.
Yeah, it was a triple-double.
It was or it was not?
No, the game before was a triple-double with blocks.
Right. Triple-double with blocks is so ridiculous.
I mean, she really does look like a doll amongst a bunch of kids out there, though. I mean, it is crazy, like the way it looks like an adult swatting little kids at practice. Like if you just decided to start blocking all of the 7 and 8-year-olds.
To me, it's Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Dodgeball. Yeah. That's what I always go to.
But she doesn't jump on a lot of her blocks, which is
right.
always ridiculous to see.
I saw Elena Coates play like an 8th grade game back in the day, and that's what it was. That's the most like dominating. Or that's another one that I go to in my head too.
Yeah, it is like something you see with kids because there's always such a discrepancy. Some kids grow really quickly, and there's one kid that's just way bigger than everybody else.
Had one of those on the 6-year-old team this year. Glad to have him. Made me look like a really good coach.
Aaliyah Boston just had one block.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, my YouTube recommended page popped up a Demetrius Summers high school highlights video that I'd never seen before. I'd never seen his high school highlights before. It was outrageous.
Just sick.
Just every play is a touchdown. Even if he gets swarmed by 5 people, he would just run around them and run through somebody and run over somebody else. It was
just silly.
I still don't think I've ever seen a better high school highlight tape than Clowney's, though.
Oh, no.
What do we got?
But in this week, got the best of the great Shula. With Miami leading 17-13 and 10 minutes remaining from the Dolphins' 43, 4th and 1, the Diesel with John Riggins was ready to his name.
Riggins. Nice.
Rest in Super Bowl against Dolphins. My dad's got this picture in our house.
Of course he does. Whoa. Waddy says Demetrius' brother was a better athlete. Whoa. That's crazy. All right, I've got maybe the worst take I've ever seen here. I need to put it up on the screen.
We're back.
So I'll do zero res out of this, right? I'll do zero res going in this break. We'll get Gamecock Larry on, be pretty quick.
Okay. You're up.
Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Bond hits us up. Cool Care Heating and Air text line, 803-404-6100. But people, including myself, Bond says, don't like him, or at least root against him because of the New England fan base. Insufferable. I hear you. I wasn't pulling for him. I was pulling for Green Bay. I've liked Green Bay ever since Sterling Sharp went there. To me, they're an easy team to like. Everybody owns a stake, and they don't have an owner. There's something about Lambeau. I don't know what it is. I've actually been up there, went up to play like a high school basketball tournament up in Wisconsin, so just drove by there, kind of stood outside, didn't get to go in or watch a game or anything there. But I like what it represents. I'm one of those guys. I'm weird.
In the middle of the neighborhood.
Right. I went to Turner Field a while back. I'll never forget it. It's the first time I realized this about myself because I had been to Fulton County and watched a Braves game back in the day and noticed that it wasn't very nice. There's no doubt about it. I think it had the reputation at the time being the worst stadium in Major League Baseball. But then Turner Field, I noticed how nice and shiny everything was, and there was just a part of me that was like disappointed. I mean, you can make things nice, but it just doesn't have that feel. I had a kind of a smaller scale. I kind of felt that way, and it makes no sense, right? It makes zero sense to complain ever, say any kind of bad word about Founders Park for the Gamecocks. It's tremendous. A great college baseball venue, one of the best in the country. But there's a part of me that misses the old Sarge Fry Field. Maybe because I've lived in the roots there during the first year at college at Carolina and could hear the ping of the bat outside. Sometimes it would wake me up. I tried to sleep through that most of the time, especially if I had an early morning class. That was where I went. But there's something to an old stadium like Lambeau Field, and I was pumped yesterday. And kind of like you, Patrick, a little disappointed that we didn't get more drama from a game perspective. Green Bay and Tampa Bay was about as good as you can ask for. The controversial decision of Matt LaFleur for kicking the field goal with a little bit more than 2 minutes left, down 8, 4th and goal from the 8. I get it. He's going to be ripped for that in his whole career. That'll follow him around forever. But at least it came down to the end there. The pass interference. It was pass interference. You had to call it. He pulled the guy's shirt not once but twice, and it caused the incompletion. You had to call it. It stinks that the game kind of ended on that, but you had to do it, in my opinion.
Well, and all the criticisms of that organization and how they've handled the Rodgers and the team around him kind of shone through in that game too, which is great for a media talking point perspective, especially when Rodgers comes out with a quote that says a lot of guys' futures are uncertain, myself included, because you've never gotten them receivers, never thrown a touchdown pass to a first-round wide receiver in his career. Devonta Adams is a beast, but Alan Lazard didn't turn his head on an easy touchdown, dropped a pass in the end zone. Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropped a easy 30-yard pass. Everybody dropped passes. The defense folded when they needed a big stop with 3 timeouts plus a 2-minute warning. So everything that Rodgers has ever complained about and people have complained about on Rodgers' behalf of not getting him enough help, all was the reason that they lost the game, because he was phenomenal. So, I mean, it was a great game. It was great to have the talking point of the 2 old guys, the one that has every weapon you could possibly imagine right now, and a great defense that just plays downhill, super fast, strong. The Tampa Bay defense is a blast to watch. And then Rodgers, who's basically done it his entire career by himself and never had any help. And now, for the next 2 weeks, everybody's going to talk about Brady and Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but they're also going to talk about, was that Aaron Rodgers' last game in Green Bay?
And I think rightly so, especially knowing how Aaron Rodgers came to be the quarterback in Green Bay. With the Brett Favre situation, and seeing what happened with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, and knowing, I don't think Green Bay lets it happen because Aaron Rodgers is still on top of his game. Do you think it happens? I think it's too soon. I think he goes 1-year deal, 2-year deal, but the thing is, does he want to do that, right? And
I think he's got 4 years left on his contract.
Oh, he's good.
So it would be more of a trade situation, but it's just funny that they draft the quarterback. Everybody's just mind blown. All they needed was a wide receiver. If Justin Jefferson was on that team, they would have. I mean, their offense was historic this year. If Justin Jefferson, who caught 1,400 yards this year, broke Randy Moss's rookie record, that is who Packers fans wanted the whole time, and all they were was proven right. So there was the thought that, the Packers drafted a quarterback, so now Aaron Rodgers is extra motivated. Well, at the end of the day, you still need the guys out there that can make the plays. So, yeah, sorry. MVS and Alan Lazard and Equinemius St. Brown are not Justin Jefferson, and they didn't have the horses to do it. So Aaron would be right. If the thing is now, we'll see how it goes with Deshaun Watson, but if you decide to just start forcing trades and say, I'm not going to be here anymore and I'm not going to do this, the teams have lost a lot of the ability to just make you do what they say. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson right now with a lot of power about shaping the NFL for the upcoming season. Super Bowl 55 is going to be a blast. Tom Brady in Tampa Bay against Kansas City, which opens as a 3.5-point favorite to repeat, which we haven't seen since when? When's the last repeat winner we got? It was the Patriots early on, right?
2 and 3, I guess.
Right. I think it was the first 2. Or it might, if not the first 2, then it was really early on. Patrick's looking that thing up right now. 803-404-6100 if you would like to weigh in. We need to go to our guy, our favorite 86-year-old caller on the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry says he doesn't watch any professional sports, so I'm guessing he's not going to be talking about the Super Bowl, but he will be talking about some Gamecocks with the Gamecock basketball team giving up 109 points and losing to Auburn, the men on Saturday, but the women finding a way to win. Tough one on the road in Baton Rouge yesterday by 4. Good morning, Gamecock Larry. Hope you're doing well, sir.
I'm doing okay. I don't care about that Super Bowl and Brady and Rodgers and all them other high-paid athletes. But I want to say something about Tim, Bill, and Patrick. I sit here and listen to you. I wasn't going to call in. But I am sure appreciate the way you all are talking about my men's basketball team. You don't know what these young men been through for the last 2 or 3, maybe 4 months. Look at Frank Martin. Our coach has been through a lot in the last 2, 3, 4 months. And you up there saying there's no spirit, no, I don't know what you said, I forgot now, but these guys have been through a lot. So get off of them. COVID, Texas A&M, and LSU took everything out of these young men. And if I had my say, I think they should hold the tent, because if it keeps going like it's going, you guys are going to need to be tearing them up. That's about all I got to say. Tim, Bill, and Patrick, get off of them. Go Gamecock.
Gamecock Larry, ladies and gentlemen, yelling at us. I thought he was giving us credit at first.
I thought he was at the beginning, and then he said to get off. I thought he said we did the right thing. We mentioned all the struggles they've gone through this year.
I think Gamecock Larry can get confused when I read text messages that he thinks that that's my opinion.
True.
It is not the case. And if you want to be mad at somebody, I got somebody you can be mad at. Tyson hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line with just a flaming hot take that Gamecock Larry might have to call us back about. We'll give you, and it's critical of Frank Martin in particular and his analogy that I cannot understand, and we'll try to get some further explanation maybe as we roll on. We're up rolling live and streaming this morning as well. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. I've tweeted out those links at Tim Hill 1075 on Twitter. We have a 1075 The Game Facebook page you can subscribe to on the YouTube. Should be able to search for it there. The Facebook Live is on the traditional Facebook page. It's always been up and rolling. And appreciate all the comments. You guys are up early with us and hitting us up on those things as well. We can actually put those up on the live stream. We're having fun during the breaks talking with you as well. Patrick holding it down in the studio. Bill should be back here soon. I'm Tim Hill at Tim Hill 1075 at _Patrick Corrette, where you can follow Patrick on Twitter. 803-404-6100. If you would like to join the program, you can call or text. It's the early game. It's 1075 The Game. If I missed a detail about that NFC Championship game yesterday, it's probably because of what was going on at my house. It was a bit of a zoo. We had a neighbor over. He's a Buffalo Bills fan, but so this was kind of the warm-up of his day, watching the NFC Championship game before getting serious and watching the AFC Championship game. But he has 2 younger girls. They came over. They were playing with my we had a 7- and 5-year-old. The 7-year-old was all in on the game. The 5-year-old wanted to actually play, though. He's not quite to that level yet. And then we got the almost 10-month-old baby waddling around there. So it was pretty much chaos. But fortunately, had nothing to worry about when it came to those guys playing on the carpets, on the surfaces in my house. We've had Zero Res out to my house a couple of times. They've done a great job. The Zero Res carpet and rug cleaning, why we have them specifically out to my house is because we always have kids over at the house. And we don't have anything to worry about when it comes to their process because they have a powered water, a patented cleaning process that uses powered water. No harsh chemicals involved there. Also, since there's no soap, there's no leftover residue, the carpets stay cleaner longer. They can at your home as well, and your business too. If you're in charge of a business, the commercial cleaning division at Zero Res, working day and night all over the Midlands, following all the CDC guidelines, making sure all those surfaces are clean and sanitized. They've done the carpet at my house, an area rug in my living room, the tile in both the bathroom and kitchen, and done a great job and impressed my wife with the results. That's not an easy thing to do. Right now, they have a great deal for you. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $109. Schedule your Zero Res cleaning today. Give them a call at 803-262-4020. Check them out online where you can book your appointment as well. ZeroResColumbia.com. It's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Clear.
All right. Let's see. So I can copy and paste the comments from the text line and pop them up on the old stream. Working it all out this morning. Let's see. Oh, we got some good ones. Waddy, I hear you. Sterling Sharp and Robert Brooks, why she started pulling for the Packers. Nice. Ben, morning to you too. You can't say good morning to Patrick? And Bill will come in all sensitive if you're just talking to me, Ben. But good morning. What Brandon's saying here about the LeBron James in the NFL?
Not anymore, unfortunately. LeBron's got 3 now. Probably going to get another. LeBron's got a – wait, does he have 4?
Yeah, he's got 4 out of 10, right?
Yeah, LeBron's got a good chance of catching Michael Jordan at this point, which is
But he never loses in the championship game, right?
LeBron? No, he does. He went to 10 in a row and lost.
In the conference championship game.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. He always makes it to the finals.
I don't think he's ever lost in I think he's never lost in a conference final. Every time he's lost, it's been in the earlier rounds. Like,
right. Didn't even get it
no.
Years, right?
No, I think he lost to the Magic. I think he lost to Dwight Howard and the Magic in the conference finals.
Modern day Dan Marino. Marino only played in that early one and never got back. So not seeing it, Brandon or Waddy. Not seeing it. Rodgers got a Super Bowl. You can't blame him for that loss.
Just one. But now Brady's got as many conference championships as Rodgers.
Apparently, we need to get Gamecock Larry some Sonic hot dogs. So get off our back. That's a good one, Anthony. Well done. Oh, my gosh. Brandon doesn't even remember Marino. He must be your age, Patrick.
Yeah, I don't remember right now.
Attaboy, Ben. Shooting a shout-out to Patrick. Well done. That's well done. And then, Steven Garcia. Spinning the piglet, like he likes to say. Gyrating the piglet, I think he likes to say. With Perry Orth. Little football camp over the weekend. Haven't heard any negative fallout from that. That's a good thing. Always a good thing. All right, I'm going to throw up this hot take from the text line.
All right, we're coming back. So,
Tyson.
you're up.
Rough weekend for Gamecock men's basketball, giving up 109 points to Auburn. It's a historic game for Auburn. Hadn't scored that many in SEC play on the road ever. Hadn't scored that many in an SEC game since Chris Porter days back in 1999 when I was in school, when they were really, really good. I think up to number 2 in the country. And clearly, Gamecock basketball not playing like we're used to seeing, at least defensively, certainly for Frank Martin. I'm putting up this take right now. This is from the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. I've copied and pasted it. If you're on the live stream now, you can read it. You can read along with me from Tyson. This is just unfair and just doesn't make any sense. Tyson says Frank Martin is the basketball version of Will Muschamp. Great on paper, can get heated, keeps fans on the hook for a while off a single overachieving season, consistently loses to lesser programs and walks off rich from not really accomplishing much. Okay. A lot of times I just ignore some of these takes that aren't accurate or just way off base. I get it. Maybe Tyson is ultimately frustrated. Patrick, you put out, that's one of the hard parts for you is that you didn't know where to kind of vent that frustration or aim it towards because this COVID situation for the Gamecocks is unprecedented. And Frank Martin's been through it personally. Gamecock Larry just mentioned it. So Gamecock Larry, I'm going to be on your side here, but probably not quite so far, right? It's just the analogy is brutal. Frank Martin didn't come to South Carolina basketball as a failed head coach in the same division, same conference at a traditional perennial power. He did the opposite. Kansas State had a good basketball program, but they were really good under Frank Martin. Elite Eight on the resume. I guess you could say Will Muschamp had a 12-1 season on the resume of Florida, but he didn't leave on his own accord relatively soon after that. He got run out of town courtesy of Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks beating them in overtime off a crazy block punt and the whole thing. And then the baggage that was attached to Will Muschamp coming to South Carolina was lengthy. And really hung over the program. I guess you could say after that 9-4 season in year number 2 that most of it had been wiped away, but I don't think so, man. I think the leash was still relatively short and the memory long for Gamecock fans. And the reputation was still there of not being able to have an offense, a successful offense consistently. And he was never able to overcome that in his head coaching tenure. Will Muschamp goes down as not a good SEC football coach. Frank Martin, even in the last few years where the Gamecocks haven't made the NCAA tournament, and again, this is year 9, and Carolina has made one NCAA tournament. Those are facts. That one was a Final Four run. Also fact. And doing that at South Carolina, amazing. And the single most mind-boggling good achievement I've seen in Gamecock athletics in my lifetime. Maybe the 20-plus game winning streak in NCAA tournament play by the baseball team, you got to throw up there as well. Very close second. But going all the way to the Final Four that year, tremendous. But it's just not a good analogy, man. Because even in the seasons where they haven't made the NCAA tournament, they have done better in the SEC than they've ever done consistently with 500 or better seasons. So even though you might want to compare them and say they're just not the same. And this year it's really difficult. We're not here to make excuses. Frank Martin says he's not there to make excuses. But COVID is reality, man. I mean, we're all still dealing with it. Bill was talking about coaching over the weekend. I was coaching a 5- and 6-year-old team wearing a mask, having to wear the mask. Like, that's part of the league rules. And we see everything that sports in general is doing to just be played right now. I understand frustration, but I don't think you can let that completely cloud your judgment and overstep bounds or just make comparisons that aren't there. Patrick, what do you think of the analogy there from Tyson?
Yeah, it's not fair. I mean, he's already accomplished more. The other thing is he takes accountability when there's accountability to be taken. He coaches hard. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only similarity. They've come up short in some really easy games in the last couple of years, but this year's just so different. I mean, he's had COVID twice. He's had it twice. You really can't be hard on a guy that's had to deal with that twice. He's had to take time off from coaching. Bruce Schingler had to coach 2 games ago. It's just a weird season. You hoped that because this was a veteran team and he spent the offseason talking about how this is his most experienced team, that they would be one of the teams that were primed to handle situations like this and handle a lack of practice and all these things. But unfortunately, they weren't. They weren't able to practice together. That hurts a lot of it. Even some of the guys that are more experienced, like Seventh Woods is experienced, but he's not experienced in this program. He's been one of the bummers of this season. Cousinard's only in his 2nd year. He hasn't played up to what we expected. There's a lot of frustrating things. I was really frustrated watching that game and watching us just get run by, but there's no size. There's a lot of problems with this team right now that can't be attributed to anything but bad luck. I don't know if have they still played the least games in the country? Is that over with now that we've played 2 in a row? It probably is, but
they were tied with DePaul, I think, going in on Saturday.
So when you're tied for the least games played in the country, I mean, there's going to be growing pains, and it's frustrating. The most frustrating part, honestly, is that with the same set of circumstances, you played a really good game against LSU last week and then followed it up with 2 duds with the same group of guys, and you thought that you were going to start feeling the flow of things and playing better and smoother, and all it did was get worse. So that is the bummer. And if you want to put anything on Frank Martin, I think the fact that they played really well last week when he wasn't there and then just had 2 complete eggs and followed up the next week, that maybe you can put on the coach.
Good morning. Rod from Greenville says, we hear those excuses every year, Larry, talking to Gamecock Larry. I think about Gamecock basketball. Every team has COVID-19 issues, Rod says. By the way, our girls, she says, I'll go with women, look real good, and they are facing the same issues. Whatever it is, it is. By the way, YouTube doesn't have live chat. Come on, guys. Rod from Greenville. So instead of saying, hey, this new live stream on YouTube is great, he prefers to complain that you can't chat in there. Sorry, Rod.
They're trying to figure that out.
And USC women winning by 4 yesterday, coming back from behind late in Baton Rouge, finding a way to win. Certainly impressive. But I'm guessing if they had not won that game against a team that was basically 500, that There would have been a lot of complaining there too. Every team is dealing with COVID-19. There's no doubt about that. The Cocky Codger says Auburn seems to be handling COVID issues okay. But every team is affected differently. And you can't deny the impact on this team has been massive. Anonymous texter, everyone's dealing with COVID, not just Carolina. Maybe practice better protocol. I mean, come on. He points out Clemson has gotten whipped the last 3 games after their COVID issues. Do you think they're using it as an excuse? So stupid. Carolina just is terrible at basketball, too. Wow. Okay, strong. My question is, why can Dawn Staley have such success and the men have so many issues every year? That's from Lee. Women's basketball is just different from a resource perspective. You understand that. I mean, it's wildly competitive. You got to give Dawn Staley a ton of credit. But it's not the same animal as men's basketball. Again, not making excuses. I'm just trying to deal with reality. Lee says, to me, it shows a coaching or recruiting issue. We have to hold him accountable for his lack of NCAA tournament appearances. I get that. 1 in 9 years. And that's something that Gamecock basketball fans don't want, don't appreciate. I get it. But the one did result in the Final Four. And we do remember it was 2004 before that. So let's not act like Darren Horn handed off the program and was just cruising in cruise control. We're talking about, I know Bill points it out pretty frequently, maybe the least successful Power 5 program out there. And Bill rejoining us here, back from taking the kids from school. Bill, what do you think about some of this conversation about Gamecock basketball?
There's a lot of it that I do totally understand.
There we go. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that I do totally understand. And I think that here, I'll be honest, I would give them a pass if I thought that this team would return intact next year. I don't know if they will. I think it's a good basketball team. And that makes it more annoying that you're seeing losses like this, that you're seeing them not be competitive with Missouri. Obviously, they got down 10. I think Missouri started with a run, and then South Carolina never – I think they got it to within 5, and they fell behind by 16, so they kind of kept it there within that margin throughout the game. But, you know, A.J. Lawson's playing really good. Like, for all the grief we gave A.J. Lawson last year, he looks like a guy who now has got a good chance of being in the NBA next year. Say what you want about the team, but A.J. Lawson looks like a guy who will probably be in the NBA next year. You know, Keyshawn Bryant's put up two of the last 3 20-plus point games. You know, Jermaine Cousinard, I think, needs to play a little bit better, but there's a lot of things that I see that are positives, but the negative is it's starting to feel like a lost season. And then I don't know what's it necessarily going to be this team next year. Is Seventh Woods going to decide he's haven't had enough of college and wants to move home, maybe try his hand over in Europe? A.J. Lawson's probably going to go pro. What does Cousinard and Bryant do? You know, look, South Carolina basketball, and this is not an excuse that you can't want more. South Carolina basketball won NCAA tournament in 9 years, and again, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just pointing out facts here. That's the norm for South Carolina basketball. They've been to 5 tournaments over the last 45 years, I believe. I mean, that's the truth. Does it need to improve? Yeah, but I mean, there's been a lot of coaches that have come through this program, and for whatever reason, there hasn't been a ton of success. 2 years under Fogler, 1 year under Odom. You know, the success that they've had recently in terms of wins and losses has been about as good as it's been. Should you expect more? Yes. Otherwise, if you're not going to ask for more, shut the program down, put the money somewhere else. So I think it's perfectly acceptable, and that's why I do understand people being upset with it and wanting more. At the same time, man, this is a weird year, and I feel like if we knew exactly what the basketball team was going to be next year, maybe people would be more willing to accept what is happening. But Lawson's probably gone. I don't know what Woods is going to do. I don't know what Bryant or Cousinard are going to do. You feel like there's always transfers with the Frank Martin program. It's hard to say.
803-404-6100. We just had another take in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, that is. Kip says, I've always been a Frank Martin fan, but your assessment of Tyson's criticism is off. One trip to the tourney in 9 years is a fact. You're right. That is a fact. I think it's also a fact that Frank Martin really was a good coach at his last program. It took him to the Elite Eight, as opposed to the Will Muschamp assessment. Somebody just hit us up, too. I apologize. I'm not giving proper credit here, that Frank Martin can go get a job anywhere in the country. I don't know about anywhere in the country. This is Matt. Says, honestly, Gamecock fans need to have a come-to-Jesus moment when it comes to basketball. Frank can go anywhere he wants and get a job. Our program was wandering in the desert for 40 years. We have a bad program, period. He's trying to dig us out based on his reputation alone. Will Muschamp can't go get a job as a head coach in college football. Frank Martin has a different reputation for sure. Now, Barry has a legit question. How many years removed from the Final Four season until we finally quit pointing to that as an accomplishment for this program? Asking for a friend. We'll discuss that when we come back. I know you got
always.
Oh, he's got a gas.
Come on, man. It's always an accomplishment. It's always an accomplishment. Right?
Yeah. He just wants to be frustrated. Patrick's having us break. It's the early game. It's 107.5. I love that we can watch Patrick rap us like that. Did you see?
You made a mistake. You read a text message from that one guy that we always talk about.
So this is the perfect off-air conversation. We have one texter specifically. Let's see how many times today. We just gotten two texts in today, but it is always just negative. Ooh, let's see on Friday how many we have on Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, just 6 on Friday. I think that was all the same day. Maybe this was all Wednesday, actually. I'm counting 8, 9.
Oh, no. We got one texter who's a Clemson fan who sends in, we counted one time, 50-plus text messages a week. Never mentions the word Clemson. The word Clemson or Tigers is never mentioned, but he's clearly a Clemson fan. You can tell. You can go back and look. And, I mean, he absolutely has nothing better with his life to do. And we appreciated him listening and participating. Tim messed up and read his text message this morning.
My personal rule is if you go 3 straight negative texts, then you have to balance it out with something positive for me to get back to your text. Otherwise, you're just that guy. You're just that person. And he or she should probably be ignored because that's all they do.
Yep.
I messed up on that one. I was going too fast on the text line. My apologies. I'll sit out the next segment. It's all you guys.
It'll be a quick segment.
Self-imposed suspension.
Self-imposed. Look at him. Now he done text again because now he's all fired up. He finally made the morning show.
1 out of 50 now.
1 out of about the last 150.
Yeah, we thought we had figured it out and discouraged him, but now I just threw him another bone. I just fed the stray animal. My apologies.
I'm reading Waddy's to missed a lot of short shots. It sounded like my team on Saturday. Missed a million layups.
Hope, we're glad we're on YouTube as well. Thanks for joining us, Hope.
Thomas did call in and say that we should be able to get comments. He doesn't. He said he has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, but does he do it through StreamYard?
I don't know.
See, I think that's where it's disabled from YouTube's perspective because it's coming in from somewhere else. Come on, Patrick. You're the behind-the-scenes guy. You didn't get to the bottom of that?
I'm not operating the stream, though.
It's true.
Yeah, I was laughing earlier. I guess everybody assumes that I just, as perky as I sound on the radio, I must look that perky first thing in the morning. But I actually feel perfectly fine. Everybody's like, oh, he needs more coffee. Like, what do you think I wake up and look like at 6 a.m.? Like,
we got 2 minutes.
I was in a good mood to begin with.
Yep.
What's better, 9:15?
Anonymous texter. The Gamecock basketball team inconsistent probably because of lack of cohesion with COVID keeping them apart. To say Lawson is playing well is just wrong. We need him to play well every game, and we should have made the tournament the year before also. I saw another text in here talking about how Frank Martin shouldn't be. Can we blame a couple of missed tournament appearances on the selection committee and not Frank Martin, Darren says. Seems like we were right on that bubble several times, but always seem to get the short end of the stick. Talking about what we saw from Gamecock basketball over the weekend, 109 points to Auburn. Whew, brutal, no doubt. And I would take a little bit of an issue of what you were talking about, Bill, about A.J. Lawson because of what we saw in that Missouri game, where Missouri's a really good defensive, physical basketball team. And that gave A.J. Lawson a bunch of problems. And I think NBA people look at that and say, hey, this is something to factor in. Now, he has played well by and large, no doubt about it, and been much better this year than he was last year and has progressed. I think that consistency, though, and that what we just heard there, Carolina needs him to play well every game. They need him and Jermaine Kuznar to play well every game and then get some other guys in there. Justin Minaya is really, to me, the consistent foundational piece that you have in this basketball team. Minaya, I know, just 6.6 rebounds in 31 minutes over the weekend. But he's a guy I feel like you can count on game in and game out to be steady. These other guys, not so much. Even though you got good offensive numbers, I get it. A.J. Lawson scored 23. He was 5 out of 6 shooting threes in the first half and had 18 points against Auburn. He's the only reason they weren't down by 30. But defensively, I think, is where you got to get better, consistent effort across the board from all these guys.
NBADraft.net does not have Lawson listed in either first or second round. I'm just kind of glancing very quickly. So interesting on that as well.
We'll get Bill to wake up. Man,
yeah.
Sounded sad there, Bill. Hour number 3's coming up. Wake up, man.
Research.
Also trying to figure out what view works best here. You guys prefer that one? This one I don't like. It's got me way too big, and then there's a share a screen option as well.
All right, we got to discuss this with Barry. All right, so
I like this one because it gives us our whole
picture. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the bad part about this. That
it's so
way too close.
Yeah,
we gotta get makeup people for that one.
Oh, I like that.
We gotta get you out of your light out of the shot too, if we can.
I know. Oh, I could turn that light off.
Let's see. Yeah, that's better.
Waddy, you did not. It's a joke. It's a joke. You did not touch a massive nerve. It is fun. You weren't the only person who sent it in. There was somebody else who said that I needed to look more perky.
Yeah.
There was a couple people. Apparently, I was the only one out of the 3 of us that didn't look perky. Apparently, I need to come with like a clown hat on or.
How late did you guys make it into the game?
I thought it was a boring game. I mean, it was close a little while. I actually, the kids and I got in bed. We were watching the Smurfs. Then they went to bed. They went to bed about 8:30. I watched 45 minutes, and at 9:15, I cut it off.
Was there a specific moment that you were like, yeah, this is over now?
Yeah, it was the moment I fell asleep during a commercial and woke back up.
Okay.
Which game are you talking about, Patrick?
The before bed, the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
It was
And
over
I was
like
outside.
11,
I was
right?
outside and had a cigar. And some of the neighbors came down and had the heater going and was watching the Packers, the Bucs game. And then I came inside. We ate some leftovers and called it a night.
So, Donnie, are you saying Patrick's new spotlights are good or just off? I think he was talking about your lighting when he said good right there. I don't know what he was talking about exactly.
Or switching the view.
Right. Oh, yeah, you like the view better? I like this view better as well.
Yeah.
What you said you got to talk to Barry about the accomplishment thing?
So
I don't think Barry can screen.
Are you taking some of the? You must be taking some of the text messages and putting them on the Facebook page, which then you're able to.
Whenever it comes from 107.5 The Game Facebook, that's the one I'm taking from the text line.
Gotcha. Yeah, he said he disagrees. It's always an accomplishment. At some point, it stops being an accomplishment and becomes an anomaly.
What point? Can it be both an accomplishment and an anomaly? But we're talking to ourselves. Barry's, I don't think, on the live stream, so we'll do that during the hour.
Yeah, Donnie says the view. He says it's good right there. He says the view.
Let's see, who else did we miss up here? I think anybody. Oh, AJ was taking a shot at Garcia there. I see what we got. Okay. So, yeah, I was hoping my little view, because this view gets out. So I trying to get the golf towel in there, the Caddyshack golf towel I'm very proud of.
Oh.
Translate. That's my big background. But this one has the rug still standing up here in the garage. I don't have to get rid of. I have to make some work.
This is a nice view for the producer studio.
What's that?
This is a nice angle of the board and everything.
Yeah. It's good stuff. You're dominating it now.
Now I have to watch what I Google.
Yeah. You might have to explain that a little more, sir.
Well, my computer screen's right here, so.
That's your only explanation?
I'll click out of these tabs.
Shady.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm going to have to maybe add some sports paraphernalia back here.
Actually, the only thing I was Googling earlier is when we were talking about the Valentine's Day dinner, I was Googling places. Somebody made me a suggestion about Twisted Spur.
Gotcha. Yeah, that came on the Facebook Live I saw. I was wondering what the heck that had to do with anything.
We got my Gamecock County. What's the
Well done,
annual golf tournament. Oh, I got some fishing stuff here.
So if you guys have any ideas about the backgrounds, please, we're all ears. Patrick's is obviously dominating. Bill and I need some help.
Yeah, but I'll have to figure it out for my house.
Right?
I'd have to move my desk.
Yeah. I don't think I can move. I could probably move in here, but with the old setup, I think I need to stay here. I think I just need to fix the background there to make it happen.
This is the one part of the house I'm not really messed with.
Good. That's blank canvas for you.
That's what I'm saying. Redid my room yesterday.
Oh, Hope, we get it about the live chat being enabled on YouTube. Trying to do it. Just hadn't figured it out yet. I'll figure it out. I'm amazed we are up on YouTube Live and Facebook Live.
I am too. It's a lot. I was very earlier. It's very
and I tried to get the Twitch thing up and rolling yesterday. Patrick, you know anything about Twitch?
Not really. Just that video gamers use it.
So I got an account of 107.5 The Game on there, and I got it connected, and then I tried to do a test, and nothing shows up still. So unless we have a lot of Twitch users out there, I'm not going to mess with it for a while, because clearly we have enough complaints on just the YouTube chat.
I'm surprised more people are on the YouTube than the
Facebook?
Or the Facebook than the YouTube.
I think a lot of people are getting off of Facebook. I got back on it, and I'm already exhausted of it because of people.
It's because we haven't had the live chat, the live stream on there, clearly.
Huh?
We have to take it upon ourselves to be the light in the darkness. All right, now I have to mess with this background, this weird leaf thing.
Weird leaf thing?
Yeah, you see the leaves in the background of our little chat here?
Which chat are you looking at?
Our screen, sir.
We are coming back.
Oh. Leadership.
You're up.
Starting off Monday with a multimedia experience. Streaming up on YouTube and Facebook Live. You can get those streams. I put it out on Twitter, which doesn't make much sense, right? You have to go to another place to get the information, to go to another place to watch us. Sorry, that's where we're at. First time here. we'll get it all together eventually. So you can see Patrick Perrette sitting in master control there in the Herndon Chevrolet Studios in downtown Columbia. Bill's hanging out at his house in a corner. I'm hanging out in my garage in a corner. We're going to work on our backgrounds visually. But if you're just listening on the radio, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about seeing our faces this morning. You can call us or text us the same numbers, 803-404-6900. You can also interact with us on Facebook. Bill can't get his little shelf working back there. What is that, an egg? Is that a football? You touched the wall and something fell down?
Well, I was tapping because I could hang a picture up right here. Like we were saying off air, this is a kind of a corner that I haven't messed with. I was doing the math. I've been here 7 months in this new place, and so I was tapping the wall to kind of see what kind of nail I could put in. I tapped the wall. The football fell. 2 pictures fell. You know what? We'll work on it this week. We'll work on it.
This is what's nice about the YouTube. I can actually rewind it and just look at that happen again.
Yeah.
In real time. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
Looks good. Yeah.
So we've changed our little view here. We think we're in good shape moving forward on the old live stream. Let's talk some sports. Super Bowl 55 is set. That's the headline for the weekend for sure. We'll get back into our Gamecock basketball conversation because I think that's where we are here in Columbia, South Carolina. But first, 4 Gamecocks headed to Super Bowl 55. Ryan Suckup on the NFC side of things for Tampa Bay had latched on his first year in Tampa Bay and hit a clutch field goal yesterday. It was really good. It was odd for me to watch Ryan Suckup, a guy who obviously kicked for the Gamecocks and has kicked in the NFL for a long time, was actually Mr. Irrelevant back in the NFL draft for the Kansas City Chiefs, ironically, and was there for a few years, there for the Tennessee Titans for a few years, and now caught on in Tampa Bay, beat out Elliott Fry, another former Gamecock kicker, to get that Tampa Bay job. And then you had Columbia native Tyler Bass setting an NFL record yesterday, first kicker in NFL postseason history with 3 field goals with more than 50 yards in the postseason. So you had both of those guys well represented from a Columbia standpoint and the Gamecock standpoint. Joining Ryan Suckup in Super Bowl 55 is 3 Gamecocks in the Kansas City Chiefs organization. 2 of them active yesterday. Rashad Fenton making a pick, getting a pick as soon as he got in the game for another injured defensive back in Kansas City, basically off of Josh Allen, his first postseason pick in 130 attempts or something ridiculous. It was a long string. And then you had Chris Lamons was activated yesterday. Don't know that he played a lot, probably a lot of special teams action yesterday. And then Kobe Smith, I think, is on the practice squad for Kansas City. So the Gamecocks, Bill, well represented in Super Bowl 55. And LSU, I think, leads the way amongst colleges and universities with 6 alums going in this thing. Clemson has 4.
Are you asking me a question or are you just telling me?
Nope, just letting you know. Giving you a little space if you wanted to weigh in there. Which is getting your attention more, the stream, the comments, other stuff going on right now?
I was listening to you. You were on a good opening
with that reaction.
soliloquy. No, I mean, it was just watching the games yesterday. Patrick, you were down. You were very disappointed in the overall game yesterday.
The second game was a dud.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't give it a dud because of Buffalo jumping out to the lead. After that 21 unanswered points from Kansas City, I'm with you. But to watch the greatness and just Mahomes, I'll watch every day of the week, man.
Where did you stand at halftime? Where it was 21-12 at halftime. Like you said, 21 second quarter points. Where were you at halftime? Were you still invested or did you think the game was over?
Oh, I knew it was
the game was over. I thought the game was over because they didn't get – I thought them kicking the field goal and not going for the touchdown on 4th and goal before the half to make it a one-possession game, I thought that was going to end up being a dagger. And then it only got worse. The Chiefs marched right down the field. I just thought, especially the way the Packers-Bucs game was going down, you got the 2 guys that are known for last-minute drives and heroics at the end of the game with – 5 minutes to go and it's a one-possession game. I thought it was going to come down to somebody having to score on the last drive to win, and the fact that it ended basically on 2 penalties and Tom Brady just killing the clock was really anticlimactic for that game. And then I thought that we were just going to have an absolute shootout. Like, Buffalo gets out to 9-0 lead. I thought Buffalo was going to keep hammering them and scoring points, and Kansas City was going to be playing catch-up all game, and it took them two possessions, and they took the lead again. And I was like, okay, well, they've completely squandered this opportunity to jump out ahead and keep smell blood and just keep hitting them. They just didn't do it. So the fact that it wasn't even worth staying up to the end of the Buffalo-Kansas City game was disappointing.
But it played out. The Buffalo-Kansas City game played out kind of as you thought it would. I think you on Friday said that you thought that Kansas City had started slow the last few weeks, and that you thought that Buffalo would get out to a lead, and then you were going to be intrigued to see if Kansas City could come back against a team that had I think you said a bet. I can't remember your exact rationale. You picked. We all picked, or you and I picked Buffalo. I can't remember what Tim picked. We thought Buffalo would hold on, but it kind of went the way you described it. Friday.
Yeah, because the Chiefs, they always do. They start out slow. It's just they've done it pretty much all year. I just thought that Buffalo had the juice to keep it going and keep piling on points, because other teams, they get up on Kansas City and they try to run the ball and play ball control and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand. I thought Buffalo was actually built to play with a lead because they could just keep scoring and keep putting Kansas City down. So it just didn't happen. I mean, Josh Allen was really good at times, and then made some head-scratching decisions, which is just what we've come to expect from Josh Allen. But I mean, it was fun. Both guys, when they get outside the pocket and throw it on the run, Josh Allen's just got a hose. I mean, he really threads the needle sometimes. It's ridiculous how fast he throws a football.
Is there an NFL rule? Is there a rule that you have to clean all the snow off of the field?
No.
So I was thinking about this yesterday. Tampa Bay comes up there. You're laughing, Tim. All right. I was thinking about this, and I had some neighbors down. We were watching the game, because the first thing about Green Bay is I was excited for the 3:00 game. I was like, oh, we should see some snow. It should be a snow game. And so, as they start showing the field, I'm like, oh, I don't see any snow. And then I kind of see the corners, and it's very clear that they've cleaned the snow off the field. Wouldn't have you guys left a little bit of the snow on the field? Like, wouldn't have that helped? I'm asking, this is a serious question. It's also a bit joking, but like, you talk about home field advantage. You don't have your crowd like you typically do. You don't have Lambeau as it normally would be in that environment, which is big. I think that's important. But don't you leave a little bit of the snow on the field? Like we talked about this yesterday or Friday. You were talking about Peterson and some of these guys. Isn't that a little bit of an intimidating factor? Green Bay players are used to that. Don't you leave a little bit of the snow on the field for your team? Doesn't that benefit your team a little bit?
I thought I was bummed that it wasn't snowing, because I thought that would be a huge advantage, because it's not really for Brady, because he's played in New England, so he's played in the snow a million times before. But a lot of guys on that team are Southern and played in Florida. Like Leonard Fournette went to LSU, played for the Jaguars, now played for the Bucs. He's never played in outdoor games, or not outdoor games, in outdoor conditions sub 30 degrees with snow on the ground. But it was kind of a bummer. I was looking for the game earlier when you said you have to wipe all the snow off the field. I'm trying to find which Packers game it was, but it snowed so much that they only shoveled off a straight line on each of the hash marks, and they shoveled off like one shovel's worth of grass between the out of bounds line and the middle of the field, just so you knew where the hashes were and you knew when you were about to step out of bounds. But the whole field is basically covered.
Was that last year, the Panthers and the Packers? It was a late afternoon game. I think it was the Panthers. There was a really good. I want to say it was that. I think it was last year. But I just wondered that yesterday. Like, if you're looking for any
Packers Titans this year, Week 16.
Okay, all right. So there was one this year. I just wonder if you're going for a little bit of gamesmanship, if you're trying to create a little bit more of a home field advantage. I don't know if it helps. I have zero clue if it helps playing in the snow. I think one time when I was like in middle school, it snowed and we were so excited that we went to a field. There was a bunch of us, and we went to a little field over close to where I live, and it was about 9 or 10 of us, and we played football in the snow because that was the only opportunity we were going to get. But I don't know if it in the NFL if it would have made a difference. Like you said, Brady's used to it, but maybe Fournette's not. And running, don't you have to? I would imagine that there's just some technical things like the length of your cleat.
Yeah, well, I remember the Titans game was Week 16, and the Packers won. And Davante Adams had a field day, and there were interviews with Davante Adams the next week, and he was talking about how when you play and practice in this, they practice outside a lot in Green Bay just to get the feel of it. And he said that he runs out in warm-ups and does his pregame warm-ups and feels how his cleats are sticking on the ground, but looks across and sees how guys are warming up, and he says they're taking like tighter steps and things like that. And you can tell when they're lining up that they're not comfortable with their footing. And he said the other DBs on his team would come up to him and say, hey, we're not going to be comfortable with our footing today. Like, you can attack this. And he knows how to deal with that and get guys leverage against them. And he said he does little things like watch when they wipe down the football before the play. He said a couple times they didn't wipe down the football for like 3 plays in a row. So he said, I knew the ball was going to be slick, so that when he threw it to me, I body caught it because I knew that it was going to be slippery and I couldn't use my hands. So he said that just playing in that is a huge advantage, and there's all these little nuances to playing in cold weather and playing in the snow that other people don't notice. But I was really interested to hear. But Bruce Arians said in the pregame, he said, I don't consider it cold unless we're getting into single digits. So, 28 degrees is what it was at the kickoff. So that's just like football weather. Like, any football player should be comfortable playing.
Yeah, I didn't think the cold was I think it was like you talked about, having snow on the field. Because you can't, to my knowledge, you can't replicate that in Tampa in practice in the week leading up. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know what the exact rule on that is. Like, if you're able to completely, if it's not snowing, do you have to completely clean the field? Is that an NFL rule? I
don't know. Honestly, it probably is.
Probably
want the conditions to be as good as possible. I was thinking about when you just said they can't replicate the cold. I was imagining them just taking the AC and pumping it down to like 20 degrees inside the indoor facility. How expensive would it be to cool down an indoor football facility to 20 degrees in Florida?
That'd be pretty pricey, I would.
Well, I was thinking about more of like replicating the snow on the field. Like, do you bring?
They have snow machines. You can buy snow machines.
I was going to say, is that what you do? Because I think what you're saying about Devontae Adams, and again, that's a little bit of home field advantage, having the snow on the ground. And what you just described, what Devontae, again, I'm guessing since it looked like a relatively sunshine, a beautiful day. I know it was mid-20s, but it looked like a nice day. I'm guessing since it was not snowing, you have to completely clean the field off and have the snow packed into the corners.
Well, Tristan from Blackville hit us up, said they tarp the field to prevent the snow, but he kind of agrees where we're coming from in this conversation. I would guess that you do whatever your coach tells the grounds crew to do, and that would come actually from Aaron Rodgers probably. I would assume Matt LaFleur would defer to Aaron Rodgers. Hey, man, what do you think? You want all the snow on there? You want none of the snow on there? You want some? How do you want them to do it? I would think that would be part of the home field advantage, but you're right. There might be an NFL rule that kind of blocks all of that out and makes it uniform amongst the cold weather teams. I was just happy that you had it Green Bay and Kansas City, and just to see some fans in the stands. To me, it looked like Kansas City. I know they had more, I think maybe 17,000 or something like that, and it was just less than 9,000, I think, at Lambeau, but just to have them in there and to hear the crowd, it felt a lot more natural than a lot of these games have felt, even though the home field advantage not enough for Green Bay. Certainly to see the celebration in Kansas City when that game turned early late, that Bills-Chiefs games where there are a lot of unsportsmanlike penalties and the whole thing. Good for Kansas City fans to be able to celebrate there, and I can't imagine the destruction in Buffalo going down with the Bills Mafia, the way that came up short for them. But I think that the future is bright. I was most surprised that the Kansas City defense was able to slow down Buffalo as much as they were. And then that Kansas City just kept on rolling offensively. Wasn't shocking, but I think what they did on the defensive side of the ball was the more surprising thing there. Let's come back to Donnie's question a little bit later on in the program. Do you guys think that Tampa's D is good enough to slow Mahomes down with their D, with their defensive ends? Donnie's asking specifically. We'll continue to talk Super Bowl, obviously, for the next couple of weeks, with the week off this weekend and then Super Bowl Sunday on February 7th. Need to get into some Gamecock basketball. That's where a lot of our conversation was in hour number 2. The USC women, ranked number 4, win by 4 yesterday for their 23rd straight SEC victory. It was in Baton Rouge at LSU. Hard fought, come from behind. They got the transition game going. Aaliyah Boston, 20 and 15, another dominating performance for the Gamecocks sophomore post player. And Carolina kind of survives Baton Rouge and gets out of there with another win. They're one shy now of the school record they set a few years ago with 24 straight SEC wins. And they continue to stay perfect in conference play. It's the Gamecock men's program that we are having more of a conversation with after a historic performance in the wrong way on the defensive end, especially giving up 109 to Auburn on Saturday in that large loss, 109-86, the final score for for the Gamecocks against Auburn, an Auburn team that came in 2-5, definitely playing much better, but just had lost in the midweek like Carolina. And unfortunately for the Gamecocks, it was ugly. Now the question is, all right, where does the frustration go towards in this COVID on and off again, on again, off again season for Carolina? 803-404-6100 is the number into the program. Also up and streaming on YouTube and Facebook. At Sonny from Conway said, where can you go on YouTube to find it? Just search 1075 The Game. We have a station page there. Subscribe to that thing, and then it'll come to you, I believe. And on Facebook Live, the old Facebook page, the same as we always had it. Kevin says, love the show, giving us some help on how to get on Twitch. We'll try to do that. Brandon says, neat to see what happens during the breaks, like the live stream. So we stay with you on the live stream during the breaks. We need to take one now. You're listening to the early game. It's 1075 The Game. Definitely much better view here.
Yeah, I like that.
Patrick's looking big time in the lights there in the studio.
Yeah. Now I'm definitely going to have to have different, not outfits, but I can't wear the same red sweater that I wear every morning to stay warm down here.
We can keep a count of how many days in a row we wear the same thing.
Yeah. Now we got to.
I just got
I've kept the hair real short.
Hanging up right on the way down to the garage that I scoop up every morning.
This is that sweatshirt that I wore when we went to the golf tournament, and it looks like I'm wearing a freaking grill cover. I look like I'm about 3. I look like I'm Brett Bielema at Arkansas. I'm not that fat. Like that was hurtful when we took a picture and I looked at it and I was huge.
Do we want to combine? We can, Tim.
Yeah.
So you're going to do a love spot at the end of this break.
Okay.
It's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes.
Nice work. Thank you, sir.
I like that you can have the thing scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah, what you want down there? You got any requests? Because you know I'm going to have fun with this, right?
Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of cool things you can do. I think that's really good. Go West. I was telling the kids on the way to school, it's hard to believe that this is the last full week of January. Normally it feels like January drags by. This week, this has felt really quick this year.
Yeah, we will need to figure out how to get the show audio on this thing, because all I tried to do, I don't know if anybody on here was there when Gamecock Larry called. All I did was try to turn it up really loud on the speaker here so that they could hopefully hear what he was saying.
Yeah, you did a good job with that. Thank you for doing that. Bill, I got you a scroll going now.
It's not a sweater. It's from Palmetto.
Quarter zip.
Palmetto Golf Club.
Quarter zip? Yeah, you guys are high maintenance.
Quarter zip, yeah. Patrick, did you watch Conor McGregor on Saturday night, or were you one of the people?
No, I was actually. You heard everything Dana White was saying about the streaming and how he was onto the streamers. He said a couple weeks ago in an interview, he's like, "I'm onto the streamers. Like, I can't wait. I've got a surprise for you guys." And then the day before the fight, somebody asked him about it again. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we got one of them. We're just waiting for him to click the button and turn the stream on, and we got him." I was like, "Oh boy," because I wasn't gonna buy it. I always just find little internet streams of the fights.
So he scared you off?
Yeah, he scared me. He terrified me.
That's awesome.
You gonna turn it on? Next thing you know, knocking at your door is gonna be Dana White. We got you, buddy.
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to turn it on and my computer was just going to crash.
Well, yes, they had a. Did you see all that stuff?
Is Bill up after the spot, by the way?
No, not after this one.
I go right. I got to do Love Chevy.
Yeah. After this spot, Patrick? What spot?
It's after the next one. This is a 15-seconder.
It's after the next one?
Yeah.
All right.
I like you don't tell them which spot it is. Leave them hanging.
When is Jen due back?
Ironically, I meant to bring it up in that segment. She might be snowed in Chicago. Her flight, I think, is supposed to be today. But she said she might not make it back. So, Patrick, you good for tomorrow if necessary?
Yeah, I was already planning on doing it tomorrow.
Josh just sent me an email. I got to cut sometime by Thursday. I got to cut a sleep number.
Bill, you're about to be up.
You guys are getting.
It's after this.
There he is.
Go after this?
Yeah.
Oh, we are having a lot of fun this morning doing the streaming stuff, talking about sports. It's so exciting. I got other exciting news for you as well. If you're looking to purchase a car, new or pre-owned, there is now a one-stop shop right here in the Millers for you to go to. Love Chevrolet has that exciting news. You probably heard me talk about Love Chevrolet for the last 4 years. They're great friends of mine. They do a phenomenal job. You always get the lowest price guaranteed. You got an incredible sales staff. The team over there is excited when you drive onto the lot. They want to help make you happy with your brand new purchase of a brand new Chevrolet, whether it's a Tahoe, a Silverado. You know what? Now they're adding the team from Love Automotive, originally over in Casey. They're bringing that massive pre-owned inventory over to Love Chevrolet in Harbison. So now it's a true one-stop shop. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can visit them on the web as well, lovechevy.com. The incredible sales team that's already in place over at Love Chevrolet, now being joined by Eric Sturgeon, Dennis Rowe, James Jakes, Gary Ellis, and Michael Corley. Everybody is going to be having a blast over there. You need to go check it out yourself. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and see what's going on.
Yep. Yep.
(803-404-6100) if you would like to join. We are up on YouTube Live, Facebook Live as well this morning, and appreciate all the participation, trying to make sure to get all those in. We can even put your comment up on YouTube. That's what we're doing for Thomas right now, or up on the live stream, I should say. Thomas, hit us up, Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Why are kids like true freshman Sharif Cooper, he's talking basketball, or at Texas with Santiago Vescovi, able to join the team with little to no practice and impact games? But for us, transfers and late joins like this Manat kid take forever to be able to contribute at any decent level. That's Thomas. Again, I'd say the easy answer is those guys are the exceptions you're talking about, and tremendous players. Sharif Cooper, I haven't seen a guy dominate a game like that in a long time. I mean, to be within 5 rebounds of a triple-double in 20 minutes of basketball is absolutely absurd. 10 points, 11 assists, and 5 rebounds in the first half is certainly one of the best Colonial Life Arena performances that has ever happened. And how he's changed that Auburn team is really notable. I thought the most telling part of that, watching the television broadcast, is that 3 Auburn players volunteered their starting spots, they were saying on the broadcast. I believe it was Jimmy Dykes, in between his Conor McGregor impersonations, mentioning this, that 3 Auburn starters came to Bruce Pearl and said, yeah, he can start for me. He's that good. Bill, am I overhyping what these guys are? And maybe that also tells you a little bit about, I'm trying to think of the last player to come in and immediately have an impact for Gamecock basketball, and it is, the list is not long, and nothing's popping right in my head. Am I missing someone, or am I off on this? What do you got?
I was doing a little bit of research very, very quickly on Sharif Cooper. Number one, I think let's start with, he was a McDonald's All-American last year. That's part of the reason. He's just he was a consensus 5-star recruit. Like, let's start with the fact that he is an elite player that can arrive on campus, as opposed to the young man who should be a junior in high school or is in his senior year. Sharif Cooper is 19 years old. A quick search, I didn't realize this. I don't think this was going to help South Carolina. His sister was it Tea Cooper, who played for South Carolina for a year or two? Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. She managed to play in 3 of 4 colleges: Tennessee, South Carolina, and Baylor, and then was drafted by the Phoenix Mercury. But I mean, that's one reason. Let's just call it what it is. He was a top 30 player. He was ranked 22nd on Rivals overall, 27th on 24/7 Sports, and 20. That's kind of your answer right there. He's a 5-star elite level player, and in basketball, you come in and make an instant impact. The kid for Tennessee also was a pretty high level European kid that they worried about going directly to the NBA. That's not the case with the young man at South Carolina, Trayvon. Is it Minot or Minot? Have we figured out how to say his last name?
Minot.
Minot. Yeah, I mean,
Minot is what Frank says. We're going with Minot.
Okay. So I mean, let's just start with that right there. That one of those guys is an elite level prospect. I mean, Keyshawn Bryant wasn't necessarily a 5-star recruit, McDonald's All-American, but I would say he came in as a freshman and made a pretty significant impact right away his freshman year. AJ Lawson, that's fair to say, wouldn't you guys?
Yep. I think Johnson ended up with 20-plus points, I think, in his very first game. And we were talking about, when has a true freshman done that before?
Right.
Wasn't
right.
it?
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Keyshawn Bryant came in and did that. And we were trying to figure it out. We were looking it up, and I don't think we found one. A couple of you going, or at least one of you going way back in the Gamecock basketball archives, or maybe not way back, but farther back than I certainly did in my mental Rolodex. Raphael says Chuck Idson and Devin Downey. Idson as the true freshman, maybe he's talking about Devin Downey as the transfer. Certainly immediate impacts on the program, but that was way before the Frank Martin days. So that gets us into a comment that Barry hit us up with a little bit earlier, and talking about where you evaluate the program. Barry's original text in to the Cool Care Heating and Air text line this morning: how many years removed from the Final Four season until we finally quit pointing to that as an accomplishment for this program? And Bill said, well, it's always going to be an accomplishment. And Barry comes back and says, I disagree that it's always an accomplishment. At some point, it stops being an accomplishment and becomes an anomaly. They can be both. An accomplishment can still be an anomaly. I'm trying to think of another example of that in sports, and nothing's popping out of my head, especially like this is, because I consistently tell you how mind-boggling that run to the Final Four was. But you can't dismiss it like it didn't happen. Now, on the other side of that thing, you can't just keep holding on to it after disappointing season after disappointing season and say, well, that happened back in 2017, so it's bound to happen again. Or I kind of get Barry's point. The larger issue is, where does basketball go from here? James has an interesting take on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Carolina basketball has had as many or more reasons to cancel this season as others have that have decided to do so. I need to stop right there. Who has canceled their college basketball season on the men's side? Bill, do you know of any programs? I don't know of any. I know Vandy just did it on the women's side. I know Duke has done it on the women's side, and maybe about a dozen max have done it on the women's side. Do you guys know of any men's basketball teams that have canceled their seasons?
None that I've paid attention to.
And certainly
the Ivy
Power
League.
Five.
I hate to say that. Well, yeah, no Power Five. I was going to say, did the Ivy League? Remember, they were initially not going to start. I'm now looking to see if the Ivy League ever
I don't think
got going. But again, this is not
that's a different deal than canceling it mid-season. Could they be playing better than they are? James says, absolutely. But reserving judgment is something that we should be doing when comparing what they're going through with other programs who have decided to hang it up for this year. Well, James, that's where it gets a little tricky from a Power 5 perspective. Those examples aren't out there, and that's what we compare Gamecock basketball to. That's the level they play at. That's the standard that they should be held to. And I understand those of you who are massively frustrated, Patrick. That's why I really identified with your tweet during the game on Saturday, is that you don't know where to aim that frustration or kind of who to hang that on, because this very unique situation. And listening to Frank Martin, why don't we hear a little bit from Frank and some of his post-game comments, Patrick? I know you have a couple there in front of you, and then maybe we can help that move the discussion forward now to what Gamecock basketball can do to try to stop what has been a massive just hole in the dam when it comes to defense and giving up a bunch of points lately.
You got zero chance to win games. Zero. and I'm trying to figure out, do I continue to believe in who we are and be patient and allow it to get back, or do I kind of start making things very, very difficult to force an identity on this team? But if I do that, we got zero chance to win. Obviously, trying to do it the other way gave us zero chance to win today.
So the frustration is in the voice there from Frank Martin, and I think kind of at a loss himself about where to go from here. Bill, what do you think is going to happen? Where do you think this team needs to go from here?
We don't know. Well, let's start with what we don't know. We don't know what exactly is the situation with Alonzo Frank, and I think that is important. Frank was the guy that they were counting on this year. Been in the program a little while, and it looks like he might have opted out, but we don't know. I have, again, maybe Frank Martin will speak on that this week. When is Jalen McCrary going to be back? That's two parts there to adding post players, just adding players that I think would impact the team. So the unknowns there. You start with that. Then you talk about the identity of this basketball team. And, I know it's an excuse. I know people don't want to hear it. I know people are going to throw their hands up and say, well, these three clowns are making excuses for Frank Martin's team. But you have to realize that practice is kind of essential and that they haven't been able to really do that for really the whole season, not to the level that Frank Martin likes to practice. It does look like that they're starting to get, I guess, back into rhythm in terms of practicing, but you're seeing some significant defensive issues. We saw it against LSU. You saw it against Missouri the other night. Obviously, it was extremely poor on Saturday afternoon against Auburn. Can that be fixed? Or is this now what this South Carolina basketball team is? And when I hear Frank Martin say that, what I take away from that is you're going into February. I kind of was cutting up about that, I think off air with you guys, like, man, last week, this is it. This is the last week of January. This month's kind of flown by. Typically by now in a regular college basketball season, we know what South Carolina is. Frank Martin knows what his team is. And what I hear from there is a coach right now who has no clue what his basketball team is, and where I completely understand the passion and the fan base being a little upset is that these are veterans. Walton's been in the program 3 years. Ryan's been in the program 3 years. Cousinard's played for 2, but he's been around the program for 3 years. Levesque is a 2-year guy. These are guys that are familiar with the program. I'm as confused as anybody else as to why there are breakdowns when I realize you can't practice. I get that, and I do give a bit of a pass for that. But also, these are guys who have practiced under Frank Martin. Justin Minaya has been there. Seriously, what is Minaya? A 3rd year, 4th year? I don't know. It feels like Minaya's been here since the early 2000s. But they've all been with Frank Martin for a while. Seventh Woods practiced last year. He's not necessarily a newcomer. Trey Hannibal is a year older. You would think that some of whatever they did last year would turn around and even if you missed practice time, you would be able to impact. I don't know. And I think Frank's maybe a little confused, a little thrown off by that as well, and surprised that this team has not been able to regurgitate whatever they were taught last year. And even though you're behind the 8 ball this year, you've been able to utilize this isn't a brand new team. This isn't a bunch of new transfers or freshmen. This is about what you guys said. You guys would agree. This is about the most experienced team that's ever brought back, right?
And Justin, on that, in that vein, you've had 10 years to build an identity. Justin says this is year 9, I think, technically, Frank. You let players conform to the identity that you have created in your program. I don't think that's what Frank was saying. I think that he was saying that each team takes on a slightly different identity based on the players that it has. That's what good coaches do. They enhance and adjust based on their personnel, not the other way around. I mean, maybe in high school you have a program, you can fit the square pegs into the round holes, and you can do that a lot more than in big-time college basketball, I think. I think that's all that Frank was saying there. But there is something to Frank Martin's system, I think, how he coaches and how he runs his program to guys, him being able to figure out his guys and his guys being able to figure out him. We've heard that through the years. And it's always been a process, and it's been painful to watch play out in front of us a lot of times and resulted in brutal non-conference losses sometimes, last year specifically. last few years specifically. And this year, Frank has talked several times about how he has less information and less of a relationship than ever with his players just because of the COVID protocols and the unique things that they have to do just to have a season this year. And it's just been a bad combination at this point. So my question to you, Bill, is all right, what do you do from here? I think what Frank was kind of talking about earlier is he made the obvious decision to play fast and go up and down, and he thought that was the best way the best chance that this team had to win. And now after the last 3 games, I think what I heard anyway was that he has to reevaluate that and figure out if he changes styles again now, are they going to be able to have chances to win because of everything that entails? I think you got to keep going with what you got, because if you can play a really talented LSU team as well as they did 10 days ago, 8 days ago, whatever it was, I think you can certainly win against Georgia Wednesday night at home. I think you can certainly go to Vanderbilt on Saturday and figure out a way to win. What you can't have happen is the defensive effort, I'll put into quotes, on Saturday against Auburn. You're not going to win any SEC games if you have that again. And you're not going to get close. You gotta figure out how to get that intensity and some of that, I don't know. Franco was basically saying that LSU was bad on defense, and it helped attribute to the Gamecocks playing as well as they did against Baton Rouge against LSU. But you can't tell me that Auburn just gave up 86 points to the Gamecocks. And we've seen this team feed off of its offense and have to score offensively to turn up defensive intensity. But that didn't happen on Saturday either. Apparently they have to be engaged in some sort of way that Frank has to figure out. And that's a tough thing to do for sure. But I think they still have to play in the same style they're playing, Bill. They just have to do it better. They just have to do it on the defensive end and want to do it on the defensive end as much as they want to on offense. And I don't know if you can flip that switch here in the middle of January, especially in this type of season where you've had limited practice and obviously they've dealt with unique circumstances.
About that, and at the end of the day, we're talking about a team that everybody expected to be an NCAA tournament type team. You know, you go back, I think John Rothstein, who covers basketball extremely well, had him as I think him and Jeff Goodman both had him as a top 50 team going into the season. And this is a team that had some expectations, and they were realistic in my opinion. And right now, 3-5, 1-3 in the league, doesn't look like you're going to get that Clemson game rescheduled. I don't know if you can get the Kentucky game rescheduled to give you an extra conference game. Obviously, you've got a Tennessee game. You've got some games I don't know if you're going to be able to make up. And your chances are very limited. They're limited compared to a lot of other teams. But if you're going to make a run, they're limited. Scrolling through it here, Georgia, as you mentioned, Georgia this week, Georgia on Wednesday night. At Vanderbilt this coming Saturday, a lovely 8:30 Saturday night game. Then Florida next week, Mississippi State, Alabama, who's playing really well, Mississippi at Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi State at Georgia, and Arkansas. You don't have – it's a weird thing to say. You don't have a ton of opportunities right now to – or you really have, I guess you guys would agree, zero margin for error.
No doubt, if you're talking about making a run and getting postseason attention.
Right? Yeah.
Gotcha. Let's run out to the Love Chevy phone lines real quick. 803-404-6100. Ray would like to weigh in talking some basketball. Good morning, Ray. Doing well, you? Mark Fox. I think that would be a much more logical and rational conclusion to come to right now, Ray, if this were a typical basketball season where you had your non-conference games, you had your practice time. That's where I'm at on this thing. And I know some of you might hear that and just say excuses, excuses, excuses. But to me, that's reality. But it's also, as I even say it, I'm reminded of all the college football experts, and Josh Kendall puts himself out there as number one as the Athletic, saying that he didn't think major programs would make many moves this year in a COVID season from a coaching perspective because it was a COVID season and all the implications going into that. So you can't use it as an excuse. It's certainly part of the explanation, but I think it's a legit conclusion to come to right now. Bill, what do you think of what Ray was saying?
You know what it reminds me of? And I was just looking back, and I think actually there is a minor difference. This to me feels very similar to the beginning of this century with Seth Greenberg at Virginia Tech. You remember that, Tim?
Sure.
And I went back and just looked. Seth Greenberg was there for 9 seasons in Blacksburg. 9 seasons. He went to 1 NCAA tournament and got to the second round. Now, he did have 5 NIT appearances. And again, I know people are going to say it's excuses. Back then, the NIT was a lot easier to get into than what it is now. But if you look at it, Seth Greenberg had 4 20-win seasons. He really had, for Virginia Tech basketball, had unprecedented success. 170 and 123 was his overall record. He was 68-76. His ninth season, they went 16-17, 4-12 in the ACC, and he got fired. But he was having, for Virginia Tech basketball, unprecedented success. They fired him. They hired, was it James Johnson? I think I think that's the correct name.
Clemson, Mississippi State,
and that absolutely came unglued, and they went and got Buzz Williams, and then now they're with Mike Young, obviously. But to me, this is very similar to that, because if you look at Virginia Tech under Buzz Williams, under Seth Greenberg, very similar. He took over an awful program. It took 3 years to rebuild, and then in year 4 it took off. He got to the NCAA tournament, got to the second round. Then he had a 21-win season, a 19-win season, a 25-9 season, which they did not go to the NCAA tournament. A 22-12 season, did not go to the NCAA tournament, and then his 9th season was a losing season. Virginia Tech moved up. To me, it's very similar. This is Virginia Tech basketball. You look at their history, it's very, very similar to South Carolina's when you talk about NCAA tournament appearances prior to Buzz Williams arriving. They still had more NCAA tournament appearances than South Carolina. I think they had 1 more going back to the 70s. They had 6 prior to the arrival of Buzz Williams. South Carolina had 4 prior to the arrival of Frank Martin. So with all that being said, to me, that's very similar situations when you look at Virginia Tech basketball and how the Seth Greenberg tenure worked out and what you're seeing with South Carolina and Frank Martin.
803-404-6100. If you would like to get in a final thought, you can call or text. You can also hit us up on the live stream, YouTube live going. You can search for the 107.5 The Game page there. Facebook live going as well. I've got those links up at Tim Hill 107.5. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
Hungry and driven and new.
Busy morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're getting ready for the start of February. Can you believe it? Next Monday, we'll be into February. We'll be down 1 month in 2011. 11 more to go as we continue to work through 2021. If you are thinking about making a move with your house refinancing sometime over the next 11 months, you might want to go ahead and get the process started. Interest rates are still very low. You need to get in touch with Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru, First Palmetto Bank. You can give them a phone call today, 803-719-1005, or you can email the letter J, Crowder, Crowder, at firstpalmetto.com. Again, that phone number, 7191005. Rates still at an all-time low. You can still make the move. You just need to start the process today. Give Jacob a phone call, shoot him a text message, and maybe you're thinking about buying a home. It's a great opportunity right now. 803-719-1005. See what he can do for you and your family. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, with First Palmetto Bank.
Nope, can't leave. Can't leave.
I'm stretching.
When we know live stream, we're used to getting up and stretch. Like I'm used to go seeing my kids there, the national break. So that's an adjustment to make this morning.
I'm right off to the right.
But a fun one. Thanks, Tevin, for the note on Chicago State there. You're right. I think we got another texter in saying about Chicago State being the only men's program to cancel. And there's got to be some of that hangover, Waddy, about the Fire Frank and Fire Muschamp, but I think a lot of it is results-based. Patrick, thanks for the note there on the private chat in here. That's definitely the way to go.
For calls. Okay.
Yep. And I would bring up the screener, but I think it kills the bandwidth, and I've been staying connected with a live stream, so I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
I've been pleasantly surprised that the live stream has stayed up and rolling the whole time. Awesome.
Going down.
Thank you guys for sticking with us here. Feel free to hit up some random comments. Let's see, what else can I get going here?
Yeah, we can talk about random stuff. This can be Bill's bourbon talk.
Oh yeah. Nothing like doing that at 8:50 on a Monday morning.
Early as whatever. What did I smoke yesterday? I smoked Arturo Fuente, and that's I don't do what is it, sober January or dry or whatever, but I cut back. Yeah, I do cut back. I had a couple drinks this weekend, but I didn't do much. I got my liquor cabinet, or this place. Previous owner had a gun rack. It was a gun rack, and I don't have those kind of guns that I'm showing off. Like, it was a big old gun. It's actually very nice, but I ordered two pieces of glass, so I made a liquor cabinet out of it.
Yeah, I bought a bar cart and got, like, since we were going to a fancy dinner, I wanted to get, like, make fancy cocktails, so I bought, like, all the like the bitters and the vermouth and like all the like typical mixers. So I was just experimenting, making all the different cocktails and just the variety of liquors, and then drinking a couple beers that night. It was a really rough Sunday morning. I tried to make like old fashions and Manhattans and everything.
My dry January, I hadn't had a soda. I don't drink Coke to begin with, but I'll drink Sprite. But I hadn't had a soda all month. It's always been water, coffee, and bourbon with a little bit of milk. I've drank a little bit of milk occasionally.
I don't drink very much water.
I drink a lot of, especially the last.
I need flavor in my drinks.
I got to get back going to the gym. That's my goal for today. I got one of the things I got to do today.
Oh, look at Jen weighing in this morning. Thanks, Jen. We miss you.
Oh.
Thank you, Waddy. It sounds like she's enjoyed the live stream as a change. So she'll be sick of it by Wednesday, I'm guessing.
I think Jen will love it.
Not Jen, Waddy.
All right. We're about to come back.
Nice. Waddy is your kind of drinker. There was a point in college where I had Coke and it tasted really weird without Captain Morgan's in it. dramatic conclusion of the program. Did anybody have the guts preseason? I know we didn't on this show. You guys got the Chiefs right. I was 0 in my Super Bowl prediction of Ravens Saints. I guess people did, but wouldn't we have all got on our high horse back and before the season? Said, oh, no way Tom Brady can take Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl. Come on, that's ridiculous. And now here it is.
Well, but Patrick, you're the NFL expert. Like, Tampa Bay's roster, it's top. Really? What would you say? What if you did their roster? Where would you rank their roster in the NFL?
Quarterback's completely out of the equation.
It's top 5, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Like somebody asked about their defense. Their defense is stacked. I love watching their defense play. They've got 2 beasts on the inside, Vita Van, Dominican Sue that apply pressure. JPP and Shaq Barrett are super athletic, like speed guys on the outside. All their corners are really long. Their whole secondary is full with 6'3" corners that just jam you at the line of scrimmage, and they're just always in attack mode. They got the best linebacker tandem in the NFL, Navonte David and Devin White, that just fly around. Like, they're a very fun, like, attacking type of defense. I love watching them, and their offensive line is great. Tristan Wirfs has been the best rookie in the NFL by a mile this year. He's been awesome starting at right tackle. All the receivers are loaded. I mean, they lost O.J. Howard. They would be even better if they still had O.J. Howard, but regardless, they're stacked.
Where were you going with that, Bill? He's getting distracted again. I can see
No,
his eyes.
I'm looking to see he did no. I was looking to see if Bruce Arians won when the Cardinals got to the Super Bowl, if he was the coach or not. I guess he was the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. I'm just, as you think about Arians trying to get his offense lined up for the Chiefs defense, just which coach you lean with. 2 coaches I think that are very likable. Andy Reid versus Bruce Arians going into the Super Bowl. I was just looking back at his career.
Patrick, that was an impressive final segment from you. Thanks for listening today.
Quit.
Oh, we're going to have to – this is going to be all about eye placement. All about eye placement in the live stream world. Have to get Bus Champ back in here to give us some pointers on this thing.
Eye placement.
Got to get your eyes right. Otherwise, you can get distracted way too easy in the live stream world. At least.
Now, I was looking – who was the coach for the Cardinals when they went to the Super Bowl?
For the Cardinals, when they went with Kurt Warner, you're talking about, right?
It was Ken Wisenhunt.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Nice.
Apparently a great golfer.
Apparently a great golfer.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Bruce Arians. Now I'm going back and seeing how long ago that was. Time runs together.
All right, let's see. We got a Go Tigers from Jim. Well done. Not nearly as good a final comment as I only put soda in my Jack Daniels from Waddy there. There's Jim. We'll let you pop on for about that long. And Waddy definitely dominated today's live stream. Well done. What do you boys think?
Is that Jim in Charlotte or wherever he's at now? That would seem to.
Good question. Maybe. Yeah, sometimes when we see your pictures too, it helps us figure out. Oh, Patrick just wanted to dump out of it. That's what he thinks of the live stream.
That's right. He's had enough.
I got him back in. Don't worry.
Yeah, I always, for whatever reason, my internet goes out here at the studio at the end of the show.
Right. It is odd.
I don't know why.
The end of the radio show.
At the end of the radio show.
Hasn't ended yet. So we got right at 2 hours and 53 minutes, 2 hours and 54 minutes. Worked the whole time. Appreciate everybody joining. I think it was a pretty solid first effort. We'll figure out some bugs, especially the YouTube live chat was the biggest complaint we got, I believe.
Yeah.
We figured out this is the way to go with the views. We'll work on the backgrounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a process, but we're getting there. But now we can discover some of y'all, which will be good.
And now people can go back and watch after the fact too, right?
On YouTube and Facebook. Yep.
Yeah.
They should be archived both places. So you guys can Bill, you can go back and look at your face at the beginning of the show and look at your bright-eyed, bushy-tailed self at the end of the show and see if it was legit criticism or not.
I was pretty peppy at the beginning of the show.
We need to get the other shows to do this thing.
I wonder if Jim is related to the guy that I grew up with, Dan Corley.
Now we're getting personal. Now we're going South Carolina family trees.
Well, yeah, it's because Dan is a good friend of mine.
I did turn my camera off briefly when the wife came down with the baby a little earlier. I got to go take the garbage out, so that's what's going on at my house.
Good job. Good job, Brandon. That's what I tell my boss too, Patrick. That your internet goes out.
I came back. My job's done.
I think Jim is.
Brandon, well done. Good looking fish there. Waddy, appreciate it. Good hearing from you. And we'll do it again tomorrow. And maybe I'll figure out Twitch. Somebody gave us a word about Twitch, and I got to do something. I think I've already tried it, but we'll try again. Who knows?
Okay.
All right, and we will try to get the other shows to do this. If they don't do it, it's because they have chosen not to, not because they can't do it. Just so you guys.
I think everybody would love to look at Heath like this for 3 hours. I think that's
great. Just Heath. Yeah.
I think this is right up Heath Line's alley right here.
He does like looking at himself.
He does. Well, now we say that we're laughing, but we're laughing about it. But honestly, remember a couple years ago in the spring game, he's over there. What was it? Was it Twitch? It might have been that Twitch, but it was whatever. Yeah. He's trying to pull me and him in the booth up there talking.
Right.
I didn't realize he was such a camera guy.
He's done it for when he fills in for the Atlanta show. Who's he filling?
Chuck Oliver.
Yeah, Chuck Oliver. I think he does a Twitch stream for that too. So he's used to it.
All right. Alan, good luck with the birdies. Let us know about it tomorrow.
Patrick, did you disconnect me, or I'm already disconnected from the?
I didn't disconnect you. I don't have that power.
We'll see how ADD we are again tomorrow. But this was pretty fun. We'll try it.
I think it'll be good. We'll have some fun with it here. The weather's warming up, and we can make use of the.
Yeah, we'll get Bill out to the lake, give you a view of it. Oh, there we go. You're going to show everybody. Look at him going mobile.
I mean, Patrick, I'll be honest. There probably is no better time to jump in the lake than right now.
Probably right.
Just gorgeous out there.
So yeah, we can make use of that somehow, some way.
All right, guys. I think that'll do it.
All right.
I'll take care.
Tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.